Okay, I'm here. Hello, everybody. Welcome to another stream. I'm your host, Shinabi, and today we'll be, you know, uh, dissecting something today. We'll be actually opening up a PC and talking about a little bit of components and stuff. I've noticed that a lot of people in the group, rather if you're in any of the communities, still have a little bit of problems um, I guess making or are a little bit nervous about upgrading their PCs by themselves or learning about PCs. It's looks a lot complicated, trust me, and I completely agree. So with that being said, whether if you're watching this on Kick or Twitch, I'm sorry, Twitch or YouTube, live or VOD, just know that I appreciate you guys' views. I appreciate you guys even more when you press that follow button, subscribe button, is on either platform, the like button, or even the dislike button if that's what you're feeling. Also, you should probably stay for a little bit. If this isn't the stream for you, there's always next stream. And I'll be happy to hear from you guys. And this stream, next stream, all the streams. But yeah, like I said, we'll be, opening up a little bit of this PC. This is actually my brother-in-law's PC. So I can talk to you guys about certain aspects of the PC itself. With that being said, we're doing a little dissection today, and I could better explain to you. I know that Leafy's having some problems with her PC. I'm not gonna dwell too much on it, and also Mind wants to build her own PC as well. And like many people are nervous. It's a brand new thing and something they're not 100% sure on because they're afraid to, or not really afraid, but like they just don't want to mess anything up. And I get that. And I'm hoping that this helps everybody, understand a little bit more on PC about PC building, and that it's easy as long as you have a little guide for it. I don't really know how to explain it, but yeah, that's exactly what we're going to be doing today. We're about to start another ad, so I'll be talking a little bit more, but I won't be cracking this open until the ad is finished. But yeah, I guess we could also just talk about what exactly we're opening in the PC itself. It's going to be an Intel PC type with an Asus motherboard and an Asus graphics card. It's a pretty old graphics card, so many of you probably won't really experience, certain components on the graphics card, but we want to focus on the actual building aspect. We're not going to go too deep into actually learning about like the OS software or setting up the software and everything. We just want to talk about just what makes the PC itself. I'll probably dive a little bit on what the OS is, operating systems are, and what you can consider and what would be better for you personally. Um, but yeah, right now we're on an ad, so I'm just rambling on. But I hope everybody's having a great day. I hope you guys, ate something, took some time off, or finished work and you're just trying to relax and wind down. And that's all I could ever really ask from you guys. I could also ask you guys to also subscribe or follow, but I mean, you guys already heard the intro. I'm not gonna worry too much about that. Hello there, welcome back from the ad. Was it too weird of an ad? I hope not. Anywho, let's go ahead and start opening this up. Like I said, this is my brother-in-law's PC, so we're gonna open this up very carefully, but I know what components are in there. I know what's what makes it tick and everything. But yeah. So, I mean, if there's any questions that do come up, I'm more than happy to answer them. I'm a big-ass nerd when it comes to this. And being that I'm a big-ass nerd, of course I should know about some things. I'm not going to be, say like, oh, I know everything about computers. Because at the end of the day, I really don't. I know a good bit to get me by, but that's about it. And to be honest, I'm glad I don't know everything about PCs because I want to learn more about more things and I want to keep learning all that stuff. Hey, Wolfie, thanks for stopping by and thanks for the stretches. But yeah, we're going to open up this PC and we're going to talk a little bit about the components. Hopefully, you guys can see what's going on. Maybe if I can shine the light a little bit more on the actual PC itself. Sorry, this is my mask. Let's see now. There we go. Yeah, I think that's pretty good. Okay. Hey, how's your day? I hope you're having a good day today. I know it's a Monday, it's your longest day, so hopefully you can get the day done pretty early at work. If it's not already done. We're just here to talk about a couple things about the PC. But I do hope you're having a good day, Wolfie. How's Reaper and everybody? Okay, so as you can tell, we got the motherboard right here. Of course, big ass body. We got the graphics card, the RAM, and the CPU. We're going to detach everything, and I'll show you everything to do about it. Starting with the graphics card. Now, I don't know if you guys could really see it too well. The graphics card. I'm trying to move the camera around so you guys can at least kind of see me too. Okay. Graphics card is usually powered by the actual power supply unit because it needs its own dedicated power, because if it doesn't, then the motherboard's powering it won't be enough for it. With that being said, that's why it has its own dedicated power supply. Usually power supplies come with it if you don't get modular, if you just get the basic standard one. But yeah, there is a little tab right here where it releases the graphics card. So when you're removing a graphics card, you have to press on that tab. You'll hear like a little click, and that's how you know it releases the graphics card. But it doesn't hurt to keep it pressed down and then pull it out. But before that, I should also mention, before that, you do have to remove the screws that you probably, or whoever probably, tied it down with. A lot of times it could be inside. Hold on, let me actually press it down. As you heard, there's a little click into it. That's how you put it on. And of course, we'll also be like, building it back up from the ground up. A lot of times, sometimes the screws will be inside the PC itself, but some other times it'll be on the outside right here. You want to look for cases that do have it on the outside. That way you're not all scrunched up inside the PC. But, I mean, some PCs do have it, enough room to work with that. Let's see. Let's go ahead and unscrew this part, unscrew this part. Yeah. Try not to lose the screws Try not to lose the screws anywhere. But even if you do, they do sell some on Amazon, on eBay, wherever you can fucking, get PC parts. Look for the screws that involves the PC itself, which, matter of fact, let's bring this down a little bit and put this horizontal so you guys can see a little bit more closer. I don't know if it'll focus in, but yeah. So these are the two screws that actually tie it down, but the third screw ties basically a grid down. That's mainly because the reason why I'm mentioning this one, even though it's not tied into the graphics card, it still has a little hinge right there where it actually holds it down. So it would be best just to remove that part. You breaking PCs? I guess you could kind of say that. But hey, yeah, Cake. Or I should just say Cake. Hey, Cake. I'm doing good. We're not really breaking PCs. We're just, trying to help where we can about components on PCs. So I'm taking this PC apart. and dissecting it. Anywho, let's go ahead and just go screw this off. Because I've noticed like a lot of people like in the, well, everybody's community really still have a problem with or a little bit intimidated for these PCs. So I just want to show everybody that, you know, it's not too hard, and that, you know, that anyone can really do it, even someone like me. But hey, how's your day how's your day going? Hope you're having a great day, a great week. All that stuff is the beginning of a week, so for some people, so yeah. That's nice. I try to be when I can. When I'm not dominating Fortnite. Okay, so we released the all the screws from the PC that actually holds it down, hold the GPU down. So we'll go ahead and flip this back over. And we'll lift this up a little bit more so you guys can see. Ignore the treadmill and the chair over there. I've been trying to convince people it's not bad or as scary to build a PC, and it ends up me building the PC anyway. Hell, and it's the same thing for me. I say that's why you should make a business out of it. But when it comes down to it, I mean, yeah, it is actually pretty intimidating. You see all the parts, all the components. You see the little delicate parts. It's just, you know, I understand where people get where it's like, you know, it gets a little scary or a little intimidating or everything really. I'll be lurking. Tummy is being angry with me again. Well, I hope you start feeling better soon, Moldy. Just chill a little bit, hang out. It's all good. And you know, I mean, when I first started building a PC, I was completely intimidated. I was terrified because I didn't want to spend the money and end up, you know, breaking it, and then I had to spend more money. But once you start, you know, getting that leap onward, I say, you know, fuck it, and just, if you break the part, you break the part. It's okay. It's all a learning process at the end of the day, and I hope that people can, you know, understand that it's okay to break parts. It's okay to say that you messed up, because we're all so afraid of failure, and you know, everybody just wants to try and be a perfectionist sometimes on that case, and everybody want to be frugal about it. But everything costs money, and don't worry, breaking it isn't the end of the world. You know, causing little pins to come off won't kill you. You'll be fine. And I hope it does help, you know, put some minds at ease to know that, you know, I've been building PCs for like, oh, shit, almost a decade now, I think. Like since 2016, 2017. So almost a decade now. And to be honest, I love it. I loved it like when I first built my first PC, which we'll see in a minute. And then I just started having an addiction for it. Hell, I even taught my wife how to make a PC, and my God, she wants to start building more PCs. So hey, if you want, you can always have my wife build a PC. You might get it cheaper. But yeah, it's just, I hope it convinces more people to take that leap, take that jump. It's okay. You know, it's okay to be nervous and afraid to mess up. Because, yeah, it's money lost, but we learn more and more from it. And then we can also learn how to fix those things. Like if you're messing with an old AMD Ryzen 5 or Ryzen 7 or Ryzen 9, and where the pins are on the CPU itself, there might be a chance you might bend those pins. But there are ways to fix it, like using a credit card or using a small little screwdriver just to fix that pin. And, you know, you learn as you go. You learn how to fix it. You learn that it's okay to make mistakes on it, everything. And I hope that, you know, instills in people's mind that, hey, you know, you're okay. You're going to be fine building your PC. And that's what this is all about. So we're going to go ahead. We already pressed the tab to remove the GPU. Remember, unscrew everything, press the tab, and then pull. What I like to do sometimes is keep pressing on the tab until I wiggle it on out of the slot. There we go. And there you go. You have a simple GPU. Pretty old school. The reason why you can tell it's an old school is because it has this old DCI cable input. That a custom keyboard? It will be. But yeah, it is customizable. One of these days, though, I'm a DVI. Yeah, DVI. I'm sorry. I'm probably thinking about something else. But it is a DVI cable input. It's usually not used anymore, but this is an old graphics card. My brother-in-law, this PC belongs to my brother-in-law. My brother-in-law doesn't really need a powerful graphics card because all he uses it is to watch train videos. And I'm glad he does. And he loves this PC a lot. So we gotta be delicate with it still, guys. But yeah, it's a custom keyboard, and I'm planning on making it a little bit more customizable later. I wonder if I should stream that too. We'll see. We'll see. Yeah, we'll go ahead and start unplugging some things, and then I could talk about each cable wiring too. Let's see. There we go. That's actually the audio stuff. Here's HD audio. Oh. What switches keyboard? I think I still have the standard one that came with it. I think it's the red switches. I'm not sure. I still haven't gotten like different switches or keys on it just yet, but hopefully we do. I could get some in soon. It's just I guess money's a little bit tight right now, mainly because I've been trying to get things set up for the nicest stream and trying to get things set up for other things. And last New Year's just passed, so there's that. My God, there's a lot of things. But I'm trying over here. I'm surviving at least. Okay, we're going to also go ahead and try removing these RAM sticks. These are pretty simple RAMs. No real RGB or anything. He's not a gamer, so shouldn't be too worried. A perfect example is this little blank one right here. I don't know if people can really see that all that clearly, but hopefully you can. I'm going to tilt this up a little bit to where you can see it. Okay, there we go. There's little tabs right here that you can kind of see. You can push that down and it should release the RAM stick. If it's not releasing on this side, it'll release on the other side. Like that. I don't know if you heard that, but there's like a little slit sound that comes out of it, and you'll hear it basically, and you'll feel it basically go up. Sup, baby? Hey, sup, Tags? How you doing? How you doing, my boy? My beautiful man. Ah, the camera. We're dissecting a PC today. I had to change the thermal paste for my brother-in-law stuff anyways. I figured it was time. You don't technically need to do that, but yeah. Oh, camera. Nice. Yeah. I'm hoping that this helps like Leafy and mine when mine builds her PC and then when Leafy wants to upgrade hers. So hopefully this helps a little bit. Thought you were building a keyboard. LOL. Nice board. Thanks. Man, everybody's like, damn, is he building keyboard or PC? I'm doing neither. I'm actually removing a PC. But yeah, let's go ahead and remove these RAM sticks. And we could talk more about RAM. Because RAM is important for a couple of reasons. Hold on one second. There we go. There we go. You can always look at some of the stretches. There's some more stretches for you. Okay. Always kind of inspect your RAM stick sometimes. Sometimes they'll leave those little black markings. You gotta just make sure that it's not too deep of a black marking to where it doesn't send, you know, basically so it can basically sense from the motherboard that there's a RAM stick. But sometimes there's also problems with this. If you're wondering why it's not 4 sticks instead of, and why it's not spread out like how I would like it to be, it's because one of the RAM slots is actually kind of busted on it. And that was on me. It was my fault. And that's what I'm saying. It's like, it's okay to make these types of mistakes. And who knows? Maybe if it's just one compartment that's messing up and everything else is working, just go with that one. Go with the flow on that one. But yeah. Now these RAM sticks, I believe, were 16 gigs. Yeah, 16 gigs. I wish I only had 2. I got 4 sticks too, sadly. Why is that sadly? That means you got more memory. Well, 7 keyboard. I can't use Expo with 4 sticks. Really? Well, I didn't know that. Probably because I don't use Expo. But yeah, these are all 16 gigs of memory. I try to tell everybody we're at a point where I feel like just one stick of 16 gigs of RAM isn't enough. If I'm being completely honest, you might want to just stick with a 32 gigabytes of RAM, so at least 2 of these sticks. Reason being is because everything is going up higher and higher, and you need these sticks to basically run programs. What RAMs are, if I was, let's see, the way newer computers, CPUs work, having 4 sticks makes Expo and XMP not possible or very unstable. Ah. Yeah, if I turn on AMD Expo with 4 sticks, my PC won't turn on. Really? Huh. Are you guys on DDR4 or 5? Or is that DDR4? Because I'm on DDR4. I didn't know that. The best way now is only 2 sticks at higher capacity. Okay. Literally fried my last motherboard. DDR5? Okay, see, I'm not on DDR5. I'm still on DDR4. Okay. That's good to know. That's good to know. But yeah, anywho, I'm getting distracted. If we were to basically make this into a human body, the motherboard is of course the body, the CPU is the head, the RAM sticks are the legs, and the GPU is the arms. That's probably the best way I could really make an analogy for it. And yeah, but RAM is important, especially when running games. It takes a load, like a lot of the load that the CPU is processing, and runs the game as fast as it can. The more gigabytes you have, the faster your computer can run. That could be said for like also having a better CPU or having a better GPU. Basically, every component matters, including storage, which we'll talk more about storage, when we get to that part. But yeah, RAM sticks are very important. Make sure you get enough RAM to at least have 32 gigs. Ideally, I would say get 64 gigs, because your OS will be also running about 32 to 64 gigs of memory. You need some breathing room. I say, because it's not all on the RAM, that's why it's okay to have it just at 64 on the dot. Because, it's just, it's not all on the RAM. It just helps it run. Well, not help it. It is running. But having a good CPU will also take the load off, and GPU. Let's see. So we're gonna remove some of these RAM sticks. And like I said, a lot of stuff I don't even know either. I didn't know that DDR5 was having that much problem with like Expo or hold on. There we go. There's a little slight some dark marks right there, which isn't too bad. That's nothing too serious at least. But yeah. I didn't know about that. I'm glad you guys told me. I still want to wait for DDR6 to come out. They said it was coming out late this year, but I can't wait later on this year. Yeah, I want to get 232 sticks of RAM. And I get that. But that's what I mean though. Like it's better to go, higher in single RAMs than it is to go lower in multi RAMs, I would say. That's just me personally. I'm running 416 gig. Yeah, okay. Which is what these ones are. Oh, you just back up, please. Which is what these are. And I would upgrade to a 32 gigabyte RAM stick, but it's just like I said, my brother-in-law doesn't really game all that much or at all really. And it wouldn't be any real point to it other than him making it run faster. And that's okay. He absolutely loves this. He's never had a custom PC before, and he notices the difference between the two. Buying one from Walmart and then just buying the components to build him one. I was sick and tired of him basically getting a slow ass computer from Walmart, and I was like, you know what? Fuck it. Let me build him a PC. That way he doesn't have to worry. And that's what happened. Literally. But yeah, we're still removing some of the wiring and everything. Gotta be easy with this. I don't think it was this PC. There we go. Sometimes things come off that's not supposed to, though. Sorry if I'm a little quiet. It's just I'm trying to get these pieces off. There we go. Where's my other LTT stuff? Here we go. There's my mini one. I like to work with the mini sometimes. It just gets into smaller places. Okay. I think a lot of the times I want to also talk about certain things that on the motherboard that I can't really talk about when it's inside the PC case like this. Reason being is because, well, I mean, it's inside of a PC case. It's kind of hard to do that. Look at that. Look at that. Fidgety. I don't know if you can see that. You probably can't, but it's spinning. It spins. It's a little fidget toy. It's cool. I think it's cool. I'm just a nerd though, so yeah. There we go. All right. All right. Off to walk and jog. Gotta keep that exercise going. Gotcha. Thanks for stopping by, Cake. It means a lot. You have a good rest of the walk. Have a good rest of the day and everything. If you stop by again, love to see you. But enjoy your day, okay? There we go. I mean, this is all going to be archived on YouTube, right? So it doesn't really matter how I work. It could be slow, it could be fast. Just scrub through the video. You'll see parts of it where you don't have to deal with the tediousness of this stuff. I don't even think I could really edit the speed, if I'm being completely honest. would love to, but I can't because I don't know how. Not on this, at least. And you know what I'm just realizing? There's still some plastic pieces in there. Like this little one has like a little plastic piece right here. Oh my god. Oh my god. Hey, stay clean though. It stay clean. Shit. Not that it really matters because it was inside of a PC, but yeah. It stay clean. It's so fresh, it's so clean, clean. There we go. Come on. Unscrew this component eventually. Cave in. Not cave in, but yeah. Or maybe it will. I don't know. It sure sounds like it's stripping, but I don't think so. Please don't be. I know one thing for sure. This is going to be the hardest one to get. Because it's such a narrow one. That's why we have something to elongate it. Not this. Not this. This part. Right here. We have something to elongate my LTT screwdriver. Right here. There we go. I see what's going on. It's actually locked in there. So I actually have to screw it down even more to tighten the bolt in the bottom. There we go. There we go. Push this down a little bit. Make sure you're pushing on the metal part if you have to do this. It's still stuck in there. Which is fine. We might be able to just pull it out. Which if we can, we can. If we can't, we can't. Which we might not be able to. I'll just hear my wife. Damn. Hold on. You never know with these things. Really, you really never know. But it's alright. We're still working on it, right? Hey, I feel it. Like I said, I'm really sorry that I'm quiet, guys. It's just I don't want to mess this up too bad. I gotta tighten that back down like a lot tighter than what it is right now. Because there's no way in hell that's supposed to be in that tight. Well, that loosely, I should say. Hold on. Jesus Christ, it's like really stuck on there, huh? Ain't any other screws tying it down besides that one. Everything else is pretty much ready to come out except for that one. And I feel sorry about it. It's like it's trying its hardest just to piss me off. It's working! Let's see. Like, it's not, I get it, it's not necessary to take this thing off, but I would like to so I can actually show you the motherboard. Okay, what's going on? Okay. Well, there's a couple things I could do for it. Let me see if I can find it. You know, I'd consider this a pretty botched surgery, to be honest. Maybe because I don't have all my tools ready, I guess. I thought I did. I do not. Not in my iFixit kit, at least. 1 second. I'll be right back. Daddy's back. Yeah. Okay. Gotta always keep one of these behind on you. One of these things. You never know when a needle nose is gonna be needed. Facts. Not fiction. Facts. I'm gonna keep this with that, and then also just pop it out like that. I'm gonna place it right over there. I'm not gonna lie. This setup is a little bit easier to fuck with. I'm not gonna lie. Okay. So with that final screw out of the way, we can actually just pop it out. You gotta make sure you pop out the shield first. Did I forget to remove one? What the fuck is wrong with me? See, even a guy like me can make a mistake here and there. Apparently I forgot this one. I don't know how, but yeah. When it's right in front of my face, and I think this one's the same issue. Yep, same issue. God damn! Never be afraid. That is the one thing I will always remember. Never be afraid. Just because something seems a little complicated, it might not be that complicated. If you just give it a try once in a while. And if you still don't understand, at least you've tried. I'm trying to sound a little bit more inspirational. Maybe someone needs to hear it. Who knows? And I hope, it does guide people into, wanting to do more. Learn more about, like, PC building. Or just trying something new in general. Life isn't a fucking straight road, and I don't think it should be. There we go. Now it's ready to come out. There's an ad going on. Let's take this time to say thank you to everybody who stopped by. Thank you, Cat, Cake, and Tags for stopping by. Thank you, Wolfie, for stopping by. It always means a lot when you guys do. And I always love hearing from you guys. Well, that's good. Oh, we back from the ad? I'm sorry, I was a little distracted. Distracted of the fact that they didn't put Gambit or Deadpool in the game yet, but they're considering Ultron. Well, they probably are doing Ultron. Because that's what the story's going to entail. Let's go ahead and remove the motherboard. I was waiting for everybody to come back on from their ad breaks. But yeah. Some things might be holding it down. Like, for instance, this cable could be. And you know what? You know what I also think is holding it down? It's the fan. The fan's probably holding it down too. So if that's the case, luckily you can just remove the fans on the side, like this one. Okay. Okay, here we go. Yo, Samurai, welcome to the stream. We're just dissecting this PC for archiving in our communities. How you been? Hopefully you've been good. Hopefully everything with Lost New Year's is finished now. Over there in Houston or wherever they had it. Dallas. Sorry, I'm kind of a little focused on this. I'm sorry. There we go. There you go. Come on out of there. There we go. Good man. Okay, that's good to hear. I'm glad to hear that you've been good and everything. It's always important to make sure you guys are good. That's for sure. That's for RGB lighting. Alright. You know what a good thing is? This allows me to redo a couple of things on this PC that I feel like I need to change now. Because there's no way in hell that thing was supposed to be like that. Like that hard to get out the motherboard. So yeah, luckily we know that we can now edit it. Okay, let's zoom in a little bit closer to actually examine our patient here. Zoom. So here we are, the motherboard. Go ahead and bring this light a little bit closer so you guys can see. A little bit more. We can discuss a little bit more about what we're seeing. Look at that. Look at that. Look at that. It pressed against my skin. So hard and taut. But yeah. Let's go ahead and remove the CPU fan. We'll talk more about it. There we go. Yep, I knew it. It did need to be changed out. Look at that. Look at that thermal paste. What the fuck am I supposed to do with that? Hold on, let me go get some paper towels and alcohol. Okay, now we stand on business. Room reveal. I mean, it's always been revealed. We've done this many times. Let's put the treadmill. Let's put it on the treadmill. Okay, so let's see. I'm legally blind. That's depressing. PC cleaning? PC dissecting, Vezi. Hey, how you doing? Thanks for stopping by. I think we're all legally blind, technically speaking. Yeah. Look at that thermal paste. That thing needed to be changed out. Oh, it's an i9 11th gen. Okay. Oh, that's... Yeah, you're right. That is an 11th gen. I wanted to do this for, like, Dreamy and Mind, but I don't think they're here. I can't really tell. I can't really see any names or anything. But, they said they wanted... Well, Mind said she wanted a little bit of a... Like, to learn a little bit more about PC building, or because she wanted to build her own PC. And I was like, I could do a dissection and we could talk about the components a little bit more. And Leafy wanted I think she was mostly a little bit nervous about upgrading her PC, and I just wanted to like showcase that it's not that hard. That's basically what this stream's all about. But this is mostly just cleaning a PC too, because I know that it's been a while since I actually had a chance to do this for my brother-in-law. So I just wanted to also get this done with, because that thermal paste could use some reapplying, without a doubt. Okay, that's good. Alrighty. That way I could also showcase a little bit of the other stuff, of course, including memory, storage specifically, which everything will be shown today. We're definitely going dissecting. I need a precision screwdriver for it. I dropped it because I'm a buffoon. And yeah, let's go ahead and look up closer. Take a closer look at some things. I hope you're having a good day, though, Fezzy. I hope everybody's having a good day. Oh, Moldy, that was you. Oh, shit. Yeah, I'm legally blind. See, I told you, we're all legally blind. See, I thought it was Samurai because you guys are the same color. Color coded. Shit. I'm dumb. You know what? I should be looking at this other screen so I could be like, oh, someone's talking in YouTube too. Come on. Come on. These M.2 slots are always freaking hard to get out. I don't know why. That's why. I forgot about that. Thermal pads. Which we'll talk more about that later. Right now we're just removing some of the pieces so we could talk about it. Up any of the pins, which we did not, which is perfect. We'll definitely talk more about this later. Just gotta do a little bit more cleaning here and there. All right. Then there's also one other thing I gotta take out from this thing. Okay. Hold on. Would be a thumb screw. Jesus Christ. Jesus Christ. Okay. Okie dokie. I think that's really it for dissecting. We can now talk a little bit more about certain pieces, certain parts, and everything, which is great. This is the part where I really wanted to be a little bit more educational about. So as you can tell, we have the PC all ready, all fixed up and everything, and hopefully you guys could see it more normalized. Maybe not. Hold on one second. Does that make anybody dizzy? Is he upside down like this? Better? Worse? Who knows? Okay, there we go. Ooh, Vezi's online. Hold on, let's give Vezi a little bit of a view too. There we go. All right. Timbo as well. Okay. Oh yeah, I want to say big thanks to Gamer Pro 099 and Timbo. Uh, I think that's Timbo 7 in Roman numeral for the follow yesterday. That means a lot. I really do appreciate you guys, and thanks for following and everything. That really does, you know, help the channel grow and everything. That's what I'm always here for you guys. And so we can always do more things with everything else. One second. I'm gonna open this one up. Let's get that close up and see if we can flip that. Edit transformation. Nope, that's not it. It's not transformation. I'm trying to flip the camera a little bit so you guys wouldn't have to worry too much about, like, I don't know if it's inverted or not. If this is a good thing or not. Um, Properties. Flip vertically. That's better. That looks so much better. Oh, that's perfect. Okay. That way you guys get a better look at it. All right? All right. So, what we have here is obviously the motherboard. We got the CPU and everything. When it comes to certain things like the CPU there, I'm going to zoom in a little bit more. You're going to notice that there's a lot of pins on it. I don't know if you can really see that or not. But those pins are important. They have to make sure they get in contact with every little bits. Some of them are dead zones, so you don't have to worry too much. But what you want to do is pretty much keep everything straight and, you know, keep everything, you know, nice and clean. Uh, that's why it's kind of important to not get thermal paste on it. I've had that happen to me so many times, and trust me, it's not too big of a deal, but you know, it can still technically, you know, mess up the actual pins, the contact basically. If at any point in time the pins get, bent over or anything, what you could do is take like a little precision screwdriver like this one or a credit card and kind of just shimmy it to straighten it out. Nothing too hard. Don't do it too hard. Don't do it too too softly either, but just enough to where it just kind of shimmies into a much more straighter line, and it should be okay. Now the pins could be either on the motherboard or the actual CPU. I think nowadays with like AMD, they're going for more of a Intel design, which means they're trying to do a more like how it's like flat like this. Try not to trying to put your fingers on it too much, because you know it might smudge it up and then cause it to not have contact with the pins. But yeah, AMD used to have the pins on its actual CPU, and that had to change, and it did, and it works so much better too. The contacts are a lot better too because the pins are more slightly bent downward like this, like a claw, and it's actually a little bit better. It's just annoying when it does bend, so definitely be careful with that. We'll move on to, like I said, the RAM sticks. These are where your RAMs go, of course. Pretty simple. Here's the little tabs I was talking about that could click on and hold it in and then push it down to release it. Like I said, the RAM sticks are your legs. They're the reason why your computer would run as quick as it does. One of the main reasons, I guess you could say. Everything technically makes the PC run and everything. Let's see what else we got. Okay. So when installing like GPUs, they go to these little slots called PCIe's. The smaller ones are for like if you want extra USB ports, or if you want like some like knickknack or a little extra fan in there, or maybe you need a Wi-Fi card because maybe it doesn't come with a Wi-Fi card already built into the motherboard. That's what these smaller ones are for. But we want to also focus on these bigger ones. The bigger ones generally are used for GPUs. The more GPUs you have, the more you can do basically. Because let's say if you're streaming, you can use one GPU dedicated to streaming. If you're playing a game, you can make one dedicated to playing a game. And if you well, this one has 3, so that's why I'm giving 3 examples. If you edit videos, if you render animations, if you render art, you can make another GPU dedicated to that. That one has more to do with software. I never really deal with it because usually my PC can run pretty well, handling it all. But yeah, let's back up a bit too close. But yeah, what you want to do for your main GPU though is always going to be the one closest to the CPU itself. So it'd be this one. The reason why my brother-in-law's is because I think there's something wrong with the slot for it. So that's why I put it down here to the second one. But you want to get it as close to the CPU as possible. The reason being for that is because you want to make sure that the data transfer speed is as close to the CPU as possible, because it's less travel, meaning that it doesn't have to go through like 10,000 other components just to get to your GPU or just to get to your RAM. It's right there, it's fast, it's quick, and it's done. The same thing is what I would say about the RAM. You'd want to genuinely keep it on the first one. If you have one RAM stick, keep it on the first layer. But the reason why I can't put it on the first layer is because something is wrong with the slot. So I can't deal with that. So I put it on the second one. Now, the order of how the RAM sticks go, it usually, you put one in the, if you have one, you put it in the forefront, closest to the CPU. If you put it on, if you have 2 of them, you put one closest to the CPU, you skip one, and then put it on the next one. You have 3, then you fill in that third slot right there in the middle. And then if you have all 4, obviously you just fill it up. That's all you gotta do. Now then, let's talk about also power, because power is a big importance. CPU actually takes its own dedicated power, but it's all on the motherboard. the CPU power is technically right up there. Uh, Usually it's gonna take 4 slots, or I should say 6 slots. Uh, don't be too concerned if it feels like the cable is kind of breaks apart, because you could just snap it back on when it comes to the power supply, which we'll talk more about that with a different type of power supply, not this one, because this is an older version, and we'll talk about more about why there are two versions of it. But yeah, these power slots, basically, I just call it power slots. Power slots are meant for to power the CPU in general. Why does it take so much power for such a little thing? It's because it has all those little uh, basically components, and it depends on how many cores you have too, and that sucks up a lot of energy too, because it has to process everything. Remember, the CPU is your head, and the motherboard is the body. Without the head, the body won't function as much, or as well, I guess. Let's talk about also these little white things right here. Those little white things are for RGBs. You want your case to start shining like the goddamn sun, you use those. Or you use one and then you basically let it branch out to other components through one single wire. That's one way to do it. I want you also to focus a little bit on like these certain slots right here. It's not, I don't know if it's going to focus. Oh, it focused. Okay, so one of them is specifically for the CPU fan. If for whatever reason you've built your computer, it starts up, everything works fine, but for some goddamn reason, the CPU isn't, hold on, I'm trying to make sure I don't make a mistake, because sometimes it's on here, on this side too, on this way. But if for some reason your CPU is saying there's no fan plugged in for the CPU, it's gonna get too hot, blah 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 blah. Basically, it just means, and you see your CPU fan running too, by the way. Basically, what it's saying is that it's not in the correct slot. We just don't see it in the correct slot, which is probably up here or down here, depending on how your motherboard is built. Because Aorus has it a little bit different, Asus has a different, Gigabyte has a different. It just depends on the motherboard. So it will tell you like how there's a little bit of writing if I zoom in a little bit right here, where it says PCIe X1. It'll be written down as CPU fan. So that's how you would be able to tell, oh, this is where the CPU fan goes, which is basically this fan right here. Okay, so moving on, this long man, this one is to power up the motherboard. Plain and simple. It has the most because it has to power everything else. The RAM, including a little bit of the CPU, the M.2, which again, we'll discuss more about that later, and like the hard drive, if you have a hard drive, or the SATA, or SSD, I guess you say, and a little bit of GPU and everything else. So that's why it's such a long component. This one could take a little bit more of a beating, a little bit, but be careful that you don't pop this out when you're trying to pop out the power supply on it. Reason being is because it could bend up the pins that are actually inside there, and mess up the whole thing. However, you could still save it as long as the pins aren't bent. Oh, back up now. Back up. I know you're excited. If the pins are bent up, if you position it correctly, or if this thing came off with the power supply cable, you could pretty much just push it back in there carefully, but enough force to where it sticks on. And then you should be golden. Let's talk about this little battery thing. You know, the little battery thing that people are like, hey, that thing goes on a watch. That thing goes on my childish toy back in the 1990s. Before we had chargeable batteries. Yeah, that's one thing it's used for. But this thing is also just a little bit of a battery to make sure that everything's working fine. It has a little bit of a charge in there. That way it can make sure that everything's good in there. That's all that is. This is mostly, you're never really going to mess with this. But if you, the only way you have to mess with it, or the only reason you should be messing with it, is when you got to reset the PC completely. Basically, kind of like manually factory restoring it. That's what that thing is. You just pop it out with this little tab right here, and then you're good. We don't need to, because I don't want to have to download all that shit again. So yeah, that's what we're doing. We're going to leave it alone. That's what we're doing. We also have this AAFP, which is usually for the hold on, I don't know if you guys can see it right here near the number. Focus. Let me see. Well, there are a couple pins there. Okay, there we go. That's usually for HD audio. So if you have well, obviously it's gonna have an HD audio, but that's for your HD audio. That's so that, it ties into your PC case, and basically it helps control the audio dealing with that's coming out on like the PC. So that's like including like speakers you have plugged in or speakers you're about to plug in. That's what HD audio is. Then we can move on to these ones, which is, for instance, these ones right here. These are for your USB cables. There are specific cables for each USB. Some of them are 3.0s, and then there are others that uses these ones. Those are 2.0s. 2.0s is kind of getting pushed out and moving on to 3.0s, but also 3.0s are being pushed out for Type-C. So I can further explain what Type-C does. But we're going to go step by step and talk about 2.0s. 2.0s are a little bit slower, but it'll get the job done. You plug in your controllers to it, you plug in your mouse and keyboard to it, it'll be fine. But if you can, we move on to 3.0s. 3.0s are a lot quicker, like 4.0s. 4.0s are also a lot quicker. They are usually indicated by color. Your 3.0 tabs are always going to be colored blue, and I think the 4.0s are always going to be colored red. They're great. They're a lot quicker. They send out transfer speed like that, especially if you're not using a wireless keyboard. If you're using like wired in keyboards or wired in mouses, those ones will react 100 times faster. Probably not 100 times faster, but it's gonna run faster. I'm exaggerating, of course. Which moves on to the next one, which is Type-C. Type-C is obviously like what you charge your phone with. You charge your, rather if it's even iPhone switched to Type-C. Because Type-C is probably the fastest we have right now when it comes to data transfer speed. When it comes to charging your phone, that's what you use. That's what this one is going to be used for, usually. And we don't really use it right now because this case doesn't have Type-C. So make sure if you're getting a motherboard and the PC case, make sure you have the right components for Type-C. Make sure the tower itself or the case itself has a Type-C available on it. Make sure you look for the description for Type-C. And make sure that the motherboard has a Type-C component that is the silver one right here. That looks kind of like that one. I know some people don't really explain that too much because it's like, oh, you're supposed to already know. But a lot of people don't. And I sure as hell didn't. Especially with DDR5 coming in and DDR6 coming in even further on in the future. Like at the end of this year, I think they said. Nobody really explained that to me when I started building PCs. So just, keep an eye out. And even if the motherboard doesn't come with Type-C, they do have PCIe cards that you can put right here that gives you extra USB and Type-C. And also they could come with those little silver ones attached to the card itself. That way you could still plug in your Type C to the motherboard through that card. That way you're not just wasting space or wasting a port. I've done that for two cousins that I did for Christmas and that you guys saw when I built my uh, other cousin her PC for her birthday, which we gave it to her. She loved it. I don't know if we explained that, but yeah, she loved that PC. But yeah, so keep that in mind when you're purchasing motherboards or PC cases. That it is a motherboard and PC case that can support Type C or has Type C. It's cool if the case doesn't, and but the motherboard does. That's fine, like how this one is, because it's fine. It's not that big of a deal, and at least you have it in case you upgrade your PC case itself. So no, don't sweat the small stuff. You'll be fine. They'll always have something that'll fix everything. Now this one, as you could tell, what the thing that I was struggling with the most, I would say, I don't know where it went, but this little guy right here with all these little silver pins right there, that's for your M.2. You got to anchor it down and make sure that it stays put. You got to make sure it's put in all the way just to make sure that all your storage is being read, unless you want corrupted data. So, don't force it in, don't push it in, just kind of slightly, tap it in there. Make sure you give it a quick little tap tap, and then kind of tie it down with either a screw or a little tab that sometimes the motherboard comes with that you could just flip. Anywho, that's enough talk about that. Some of these are just extra fan headers right here. These are all fan headers that you could attach extra fans to. These are where your case fans are going to go into, and basically blow air. Which, speaking about blowing air, you could also water cool it. Water cooling is mostly dealt with over here, which is where the CPU fan would sometimes be. But also, it comes with another header for a pump. Those pumps are for like AIOs and custom water cooling. I mean, you probably heard people say, "Oh, I water cool my PC. I water cool my graphics card. Oh, fancy you." I'm glad for you. But not all of us have that luxury. But if you do have those luxuries, that's what these ones are for. They're for the pump and also for the fan for an AIO or your your custom water cooling. I kept my brother-in-law for the fan cooling over here because it's not necessary unless you want like a super cold computer. It depends on what you need. Taking advantage of what you don't need. Save yourself some extra cash and just stick with the fan if you want. Or if you want to spend the extra cash, spend it. My brother-in-law doesn't game, like I said, like I've been saying this entire stream. So it doesn't make sense to give him a water cooling. My wife doesn't even have water cooling, and she games. But the reason why we don't do it is because it still runs fine. It still runs necessary. You don't have to try so hard to make sure that this person gets like the highest end PC. No, you should be okay with just air cooling or be okay with AIOs, and you should also be okay with customizing your water cooling. That's perfectly fine. I just want you to always remember that if you're air cooling or water cooling, as long as it's keeping cool, it won't explode in your face and you'll be okay. Anywho, but that's what that is for. Usually the bottom header is for the pump, and the top one is for, I believe, the fan. So yeah. It should be Chaw Fan 1. But yeah, anywho. Moving on. All these little components right here, these are for your hard drives, your HDDs, your SSDs, your, memories. This is basically your storage right there. That's your storage unit. It's your house. That's your storage unit right there. You like your storage unit because it houses your fucking games. your pictures from that family vacation you had like 2 years ago in Boca Raton or whatever it is, you know. But yeah, that's important, obviously. But if you have a good M.2, you might not even need to use that unless you want the extra storage. Me, I need the extra storage because I use my PC for everything. My brother-in-law, however, doesn't, but I still gave him an extra storage just in case he does need that extra storage because he likes music. He likes to also see pictures and everything. And I want to make sure that everything's good with him, which is a good segue to say, hey, I think that's pretty much covers everything to do with the PC. So, you know, although the motherboard, did I say PC? I meant motherboard. Oh my god, I'm dumb. Uh, so with that being said, looking at the PC from far away does look very intimidating. Looks threatening, even, I guess you could say. And that's okay. It's okay to be intimidated and scared about it. But eventually, you're going to have to make that leap for yourself if that's what you really want to do. I'm not going to say that everybody who doesn't, build their PC is one thing or another. I'm just saying that, if you feel like you want to, if you don't want to just send it off to someone who's going to fix it up for you, you could do it yourself. And, it's not, so scary if we do this together. So, we also got to talk about this. I forgot about these. But yeah, don't be so threatened out by all this, because really you're probably just going to be using the bottom one, this one, these headers, maybe one or two fan headers, the CPU header, and just power supplies and storage unit and M.2. That's it. And that's like what, 7 things? That's nothing. And I know you guys got that because you guys are smart. At least I think you guys should be. I could be fucking wrong, but who knows? You turned on to my stream, so yeah. But we're gonna go ahead and talk about these headers right here at the way bottom, which that is probably the hardest thing you're going to be doing. Which I don't know if I can actually see this. We're about to start an ad soon, so forgive me if I go quiet for a little bit. For the YouTube video, of course. Because we're also streaming on YouTube. Can't forget about that. Let me see. Yep, we're starting the ad. But how is everybody? I hope everybody's enjoying the stream. If you're just here to relax, lurk a little bit, I appreciate you guys. If you're on YouTube or Twitch, just know that I appreciate you guys too. Every single one of you guys. If you're coming from Kick and everything, you're checking me out here on this platform, whatever platform you're watching this, you're amazing. Thanks for finding me again. If you're on Mixer, my God, where have you been? Twin, where have you been? We got 20 seconds left, don't worry. Hey, in the meantime, consider joining the Discord. Love to hear from you guys, even off a stream. Because sometimes I might get sick, or I might have something come up. But yeah. Okay. How was the ad? Hopefully it wasn't too weird of an ad. I hope. It could be. I don't really know. But anywho, let's zoom in a little bit more, see if we can focus a little bit. But yeah. Okay, so these headers are actually super important. Because they power... Well, they turn on and off your PC. The buttons. So, they'll have like little instructions right here where it's supposed to go. And it'll read like HDD, LED, power plus, power minus, all that stuff. All that stuff, you got that. Trust me, you got it. And it goes, it goes this way. It basically goes Top goes to top, bottom goes to bottom, and that's pretty much it. But the label should always be facing a certain direction. Like where it says, if I take this off, where it says speaker, I don't know if you guys can see this one. Hold on, I might be able to just take it off. Okay, this one has like speaker on it. I don't know if you can focus onto it. Focus! 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 Hey, you guys know what I'm saying. It says speaker on it. It's obviously too small to be a speaker. But you want to make sure the labels are facing downwards. It's facing the lower end of the motherboard. Because usually that's how it powers on. If you switch it around, it might not turn on your PC. So then you'd have to go through the whole rigmarole of putting it in. And my God, is it a headache? It is a terrible headache. But that should not deter you away from it all. Because what's a little headache when you get an awesome fucking computer with it, from it, all that good stuff. Anywho, there we go. Anywho, moving on. Yeah, so that's dealing with that. And with that, that actually, finishes everything here. And like I said, as intimidating as everything looks like, it's not too intimidating. We could do this together. If you have any questions, you can always find me in the Discord. You could always find me on Twitch or on YouTube. We could talk things out. I'd love to hear from you guys. If you're always having a problem with some programs and software, I'm still learning that myself. Hell, I want to switch to Linux, but I'm afraid of switching to Linux. Because I don't know Linux like that. I don't know OS system like that. But I hear it's so much more liberating. It's like absolutely like it breaks the chains and immersion that Windows put out for us. Like we have to go with Windows. We don't have to. You could go with Linux, you could go with Mac, you could go with Windows. And that's the great thing about building your own PC. You can choose what OS system you want. You could choose if you want to learn Linux, which is an open source OS system, and that could customize everything. It may be complicated in both learning Linux or in building your PC, but once you get it down, you got that knowledge, and I think that's important. But yeah, let's go ahead and start putting it all back together and then also explaining some couple of things. We're going to start with the CPU and everything because, why not? I got like some gunk still on it. So sorry if you see me picking at it. Jesus. How old was this goddamn thermal paste? And why was it so little? What the hell was I doing? CPUs get hot as shit. Hey, DCs, what's up? Thanks for stopping by. We're reassembling the PC that we just disassembled. So I can start explaining a little bit about PC parts. But how you doing? I hope you're having a great day. And thanks for stopping by. Okay, so this is the CPU we used. It's the I don't think it's gonna focus. Is it gonna focus? Are you gonna focus? No, it's not gonna focus. Uh, yes, no, maybe so. I don't know. Well, if it doesn't, it doesn't. Okay, so basically it's an i9 11900K. So CPU is talking sounds like fun and a headache. It is, but I feel like this is a good educational video. I'm doing this mainly because we came up with the idea when I was talking with Mind. Mind, she's trying to build her PC, so I figured we dissect one together, and we could talk about each parts. That way, you have a little bit of background knowledge on what exactly you're plugging in, That way you're not feeling too alone or confused about it. This is also for Leafy, so that way she feels a little bit more confident enough to, make editations to her PC one day. Or she can look at this as a review to see, like, oh, so this is how I change up my storage, this is how I change up my CPU, all that stuff. And she could always come back to this video, or, just needs a little extra push for it. What else is there? Oh, you, as we all know, Leafy's like storage is being filled up pretty immensely. So if she decides to upgrade her, you know, storage, I'm hoping that this helps her a little bit. And then if she does need further help, she can always contact me on her Discord or whatever about allocating the storage or adding more memory, or certain things about why it's important to be like separating OS from your OS memory from your storage memory, which we'll talk more about that later. But yeah, as I said, we got an i9 11900 K. K just means the category it's in. It goes from A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K. Element, blah, blah, blah. How-to guide video for them. Nice. Yeah, I try to be. I try to be nice, and I try to make it nice. Try to make it fun. But yeah. So basically the A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K at the end of the CPU is basically, well, you're not going to see it, but at the end of the CPU is basically the grade it's at. K, I think, might be the lowest or might be the highest. I get confused sometimes about it. So see, I don't know everything about it, everything in the world, but yeah. i9 is the series it's in, and then you don't have to worry too much about the 900 too much. You have to worry more about the 11, because that's the generation it's in. 11 gen is like, I think 4 or 5 years behind the current Intel, but really Intel never changes its things for the last X amount of years. So, you know what? Who the fuck cares? K is the unlock variant. Yeah, that's the one. Basically, I don't know. I was told it was just a grade, basically. Which I guess that's probably what they meant, but it's whatever. But yeah, 11 is usually what you gotta look for in generation. Better speeds with overclocking. Cool. Luckily, my brother-in-law never has to worry about overclocking because he doesn't play. But yeah, but what you gotta focus on for right now for basics is the generation, which is, this is an 11th gen, and the series i9. So we're gonna have to also talk about a little bit about placing it in. I'm back, by the way. Welcome back, Cake. But for the CPU, there is a little triangle right there. You guys can't see it because it won't focus in. I wish it did. But yeah, there's a little triangle, and it should match up with the motherboard where there's a little indentation in the corner right here for a little triangle. So, triangle meets triangle. You put it in gently with Intel. I don't know about newer generation, but for DDR4 generation, because I know, I think Leafy's on DDR4, and she actually does have an Intel. I think this is why I wanted to take apart this PC, because it would better explain in her PC stuff, and hopefully it is a little bit more, a little bit more confidence in it. But Intel has these little indentions right here on the actual CPU. It should basically slide in, or plop in, I guess, to the motherboard just like that. You don't have to push it down or anything, because that's what this latch is for, of course. I'm gonna put it down. You don't have to be rough with it, of course, but like, put it down. Make sure the latch. Hold on. I should be really getting close to it, just so people can see. So make sure the latch right here actually sinks in. If it doesn't, just push this thing back. It'll eventually go down, and then you put it down like here, like so, and then you kind of just have to bend it a little bit to where it goes underneath this little clip right here, which is beautiful, beautiful. And then we could install your goddamn what you call it, the fan, the CPU fan, the fan of the gods. I don't know. I don't know. I'm losing my goddamn mind already. What's this? It's a CPU. It's a wild CPU fan. It's a fucking cheap one I got on Amazon, but it cools it down nicely. I also got it because it has like this little ring and it has a dedicated RGB thing, which this is what goes into the white spots that I was showing everybody. This goes into the white spot to where it starts shining your face. Love your energy. Thank you. I try. But yeah, it goes into the little white spots we put right there. So yeah, but before you start with that, we're reapplying some thermal paste. I usually just go with whatever thermal paste looks good. This is usually the basic one I usually pick was TG. Hey Q, what's up? Thanks for stopping by. How you doing today? We're just dissecting a PC together, and we are reassembling it now, and also explaining everything as I go through. I hope you're having a good day though, Q. Thanks for stopping by. Like I said, hopefully your day's been good. Don't do what I'm doing. You shouldn't use your teeth. But I don't have any other tools I want to use. I just have it interesting. We try to be in this channel. But yeah, I will bring you closer so you can see the application to it, I guess. Can you actually see the thing? If I put it close like that? I don't think so. Oh well, fuck it. You don't need too much of a one, but make it good enough to where it actually spreads out evenly or nicely. It doesn't really matter how you put it though. Yeah. I always like to do a little bit of that to make sure we put a little bit extra. It might be a little bit too much, but it should be fine. It should at least keep it cool. What is thermal paste? Thermal paste is what it says. It's a paste for the thermals. It basically keeps oh! Sorry, we flipped over. We flipped over. Are you guys okay? I hope you're okay. The PC's okay too, don't worry. Okay. So, what the hell was I saying? Oh, we were explaining thermal paste. Okay, so thermal paste basically keeps the CPU temperatures regulated. With the fan blowing on it, it should keep it cooled down to where you are, cool down, basically. I guess that's the best way to put it. But yeah, it also, there's more to it. When it comes to thermal paste, hold on. My camera stopped following me. Hello, there we go. So when it comes to thermal paste, there's more to it than just two contacts. There's a reason why it has to contact. It's because if you look through a microscope, the CPU is actually pretty rigid. So what the thermal paste does is it fills in those gaps. It fills in those gaps to where it completes like contact for everything. So it, that way the air that flows into it cools down more onto the thermal paste, being transferred over to the actual CPU, and the CPU is releasing the heat from the CPU. That way it's a better exchange. That contact keeps everything basically smooth and closely tight fitted. Hello. like that. So that's why we use the thermal paste in a scientific level, I guess. But it never really touches because atoms don't touch. So we're never holding hands or hugging. And, you know, in a atomic level, it's never really touching. But in a microscopic level, it is. So we'll just go with that. Because science is weird and we're weird for investigating science, but it's also cool as shit. Because science is cool as shit. We're gonna go ahead and start pressing the fan on. You want me to explain a fan? It's a fan. It blows. I mean, I don't know if there's anything I could really explain to that. Make sure that the fan kind of just makes contact with all the holes. And then you can kind of press down a little bit on it. Then we're going to screw it back in. Doesn't matter what direction, of course. It's not going to go one way or the other. It's going to go this way or this way. It's different for each fan, but it's just going to go this way or this way for this specific motherboard. So yeah. Go ahead and hold this down. You want to kind of screw it in like a star angle or a cross angle because it's just a better way to tighten it down, basically. You could keep tightening it as much as you want, but you'll start hearing like a little creaking noise or a little cracking noise. It's nothing anything too serious. It's actually just the springs on the CPU itself, because there are springs on the CPU fan. So you just got to make sure it's tightened like that. It usually tightens up pretty well to where you can't tighten it up anymore. I hear it also, you could actually get cooler temperatures by like a good bit of degrees, like 1 or 3.2 degrees more, by positioning it a little bit lower. But I'm like, let me just make sure it's secure. I'd rather have it completely secure than having one leg outwards. Because, I mean, that's just crazy to do for me. Because I don't have confidence in myself. Most people don't. Especially when they're dealing with something this delicate. Like a daffodil or a daisy. I don't know what you're doing with a daffodil or daisy, or why this analogy has to have flowers in it, because I'm pretty sure a flower would not survive in a PC. But yeah, it might. It might. Especially if you have like a custom water cooler. Oh my god, if you do, that'd be crazy. Like if you have custom water cooling going on, and you kind of just put a flower inside the tube for the pump, that'd be crazy. Yet also adorable. I think it'd be cute to put on. That's one way to think about it. I'm also insane, so don't be surprised if I say some off the wall shit. There we go. That bitch is tight. Okay. So like I said, a lot of the time when it comes to CPU fans, the header for the CPU fan is going to be up here. We don't want any error codes coming up. So make sure you look around and see that there is a specific fan for CPU. It's usually over here on top, up top on Intel's, which I think I could probably bring you guys a little closer so you guys can see. I don't know if you'll see the name of it, but there's basically a little label right there that says CPU fan. Focus! There it is. I think you could see kind of the fan, but I think you could also see a little bit of the CPU. So right there where that screw is supposed to be, that's the CPU fan. Which means that tells us that this one right here is the CPU fan. It's usually always in order, so if you have a little bit of problems, you can always look to your manual for the motherboard itself, specifically for the motherboard. But yeah. Okay. Yes, I'm still here. I'm just behind the camera, so you guys can see what I'm seeing. You're like sitting on Shinabe's lap. Just don't be weird about it. Or do. I literally don't care. Okay. So, let's go ahead and turn this guy over. Aha! Found you, little shit. So I fucking hate those thermal pads. They go everywhere. But they do keep the PC cool, so yeah. Okay, so to keep your PC basically looking clean as shit, as fuck, what you kind of want to do... Okay, I got this kind of stuck over here. There we go. So what you want to do is sometimes these CPU fans are a little bit too long. So what you kind of want to do is kind of like twist it like this. Kind of pull it through, but not too tight. Kind of make it loose, but like enough to where it's like, oh, it shortens the line. And then you should be able to just plug it in like so. Right there. And like the CPU fan will technically have a little tab right there to just slide right in. And that's really for all fans, but you know, sometimes you might get one of those off-brand ones that just like seems like everything's kind of off about it, but it still somehow gets the job done, but still very questionably. But yeah, that's one way to look at it for sure. We're gonna go ahead and put this one like just loosey-goosey over here. Make sure you match the pin number. You see how it has that blocked off one right there? It's only gonna fit in the one that is missing a little pin right there. So if you see that fourth one, it's not gonna go in there. Obviously, not gonna go in there. So it's gonna go in that one. Yeah, goddamn, Q, over there gawking. Yeah, put that thing in like that. Boom. It got in. Oh my god. And that's how you put a CPU fan in. Which, done. You're done with your CPU. Now your RAM sticks are going to be probably the easiest one. Like I said, the first slot doesn't work for this motherboard. That's okay. We're here. It still works with these other slots. It just works better if you put the first slot in first. That's just how it is, because it's closer to the CPU. Like I said, less traveling is better. It makes it faster. It makes it sexier somehow. But yeah, too bad we can't, so we'll put in the second one. It's still pretty close, just not as close as we would like it to be. And if you had 4 sticks, fill them all up. Problem not for DDR5, because what Cake and I think it was Tags was saying, it doesn't work all that well. Which is crazy. I have 4 RAM slots. All of them are being used. But it's like all of them are just like, it brings it up to 128 gigabytes of memory. It runs super fast, but that's because I need it. I do a lot of stuff on one PC. Especially since my other one kind of fucked up on its water cooling. That's why it's okay to get a fan for your PC, not a case that has a built-in water cooling system, because apparently I can't even get a replacement for it. Look, I'm getting a little angry about it. I don't want to, but that's just how my feelings about it, because I am getting kind of angry about it, because it's ridiculous. Because it started cracking on the actual fucking water cooling block itself. And I'm like, what the fuck am I supposed to do now? I tried looking online to see if there's a different way to do it. There's not. I tried looking online to see if there's a replacement. There's not. They don't even make that case no more. So I'm fucked. So what I did was I just ripped everything to shreds. I kept the tubing because it goes with the PC for aesthetic purposes, but everything else, I'm just replacing the fucking AIO with a different AIO. I don't know. I'm getting mad. I'm getting heated from it. But I just want you guys to know that, yes, computering is frustrating. Anywho, let's get back to the RAM. I'm not here to talk about my complaints. This is the RAM stick. RAM stick. You've seen it. You saw me pull it out last time. Make sure that it's pretty clean. Doesn't have too dark of spots. That way it makes contacts with all the little slits right there. Make sure that everything is released. And make sure that it's angled correctly. One side will be shorter than the other, so it can only go one way. Don't force it in. Just clip it in. It shouldn't take a lot of force for it. Just make sure you hit the two corners right here. So when you pilot it in, you can always take a look. And just to double check, just gently, well, probably like with a little bit of force, gently kind of nudge it in. If it, for some reason it's not going in like how you want it, maybe it's going somewhere else. Good life advice right now. I hope. Hell, man, maybe you could pass this along to Reaper and he could build his own PC too. But yeah, gentle nudge. Yeah, you gotta give a gentle nudge to a lot of people, a lot of things. It's like building a PC. I'm trying to give you guys a gentle nudge to it. But yeah, you know, as long as it's kind of pretty much flushed and put down, and you don't see that hole as much, unlike over here on this side, you should be able to plunge it in. And you'll hear that little click. I'll put the mic closer so you guys can hear it. There it goes again! I'm getting dangerously close to losing my goddamn mind because it just doesn't stay. Look, I'm a one-man circus over here. I'm trying my best. Probably failing at it, but who knows? I'm trying to bring the mic closer so you guys can hear that click, click. A click, click. You don't want to grab it like how I grabbed it, but you kind of want to grab it on the either chips, if it doesn't have a casing, or the casing itself. So like I said, make sure the short end is usually going to be facing towards the bottom. So long end goes to the top of the motherboard. Short end is usually towards the bottom. But yeah. Make sure it's the correct little thing. And kind of gently put it in there. Firmly grasp it. And then kind of push it in. Yep, there it is. Hopefully you heard that clicks. But yeah. This one too. Again, short end faces towards the bottom. Put it there. There we go. Hopefully you guys heard that. But yeah, moving on. Let's bring the mic back up to my fucking face so you guys can hear me. Oh, hey, Destiny started her stream. Did Timbo finish his stream? No. Why am I just seeing a black screen? Well, anyway, let's push forward. Go to Destiny stream. By the way, if you guys haven't checked out Destiny, it's XX Destiny with 2 I's, 2 Y's, and then another 2 X's at the end. Check her out. She's an amazing streamer, an amazing person. You guys might like her. And if you don't, you're clearly blind. Anywho, moving on. Okay, so that should really complete everything. We can also put in the GPU, but sometimes I like to put in the GPU last. But like a lot of people will always put it in before they put it in the case. Because I like to put the GPU in the case when the motherboard is already placed in. No real reason, but you know what? Fuck it. Let's do that. Let's just put the GPU in and talk about it a little bit. GPU, graphics card. Kind of self-explanatory. It's a giant ass card that you can't use for a trap or a spell card or a monster or Pokemon or trade it. You could probably trade it, but yeah, that's what this thing is for. It's to make things look pretty and show up on your screen. So it's not just an empty, voided screen. But yeah, like I said, you want to put it as close to the top as possible. That way transfer speed is a lot quicker. But like I said, my brother-in-law's one is a little messed up at the top right here. So that's why we're going for the second one. We'll go ahead and just put that in there. Oh wait, you know what? I can't do it like this. Cause I don't have a workbench. I don't have a little bench that works for it. So I can't do it anyways. Oh, boo-hoo! But usually people do it on the outside. Yeah. I have to go to bed, but I wanted to stop by and say hi. Well, hey Chris, thanks for stopping by and saying hi. It really does mean a lot. Thank you. We're just building PC. I hope you had a good day, and I hope you have a better sleep. Okay, so let's go ahead and move this aside, and I kind of want to talk about, get this little blank area, so we could talk about memory. Because memory is a humongous thing if you're a big gamer, big artist, big everything. Lurk. Thanks for lurking, buddy. It means a lot, trust me. What was I saying? Storage is a big thing, especially if you're an artist like me, who's also a gamer, who works in game art and design, who contracts and works on LLCs, and send emails and stuff. A lot of the time, storage is heavily important. And so we're gonna talk about the couple things that we have here. This is your HDD. This is your hard drive. Hard drives are a little bit more slower. It's still computer fast. It's just, it's slower than the other options we have. But we're going to talk about hard drive for a little bit. So hard drives, yeah, they're slower, but they're a little bit more secure. You're also able to destroy them a lot easier than you are with the other two. Yeah, you could break the stick in half. Yeah, you could smash this one in half. But this one has so much components in it that it's feels like it takes forever just to, put it all back together just to get it working again. So that's why these hard drives are a little bit more secure. As you can tell, it's a 500 gigabyte hard drive. Yes, it's slower, but you're still going to be able to store a lot of games into it. I use my hard drives to store games after games. I use it to also store work after work products. Yeah, like art, sketches, stuff like that. Everything will end up going into a hard drive. Even every single one of my VODs goes into a hard drive. But if you want like faster loading screens, if you want and not worry about security purposes, that's what this next one's going to be for. This one's a little less secure, however, it is faster. This is a solid state drive, SSDs. SSDs are smaller, of course. They are about 2.5 inches. So when people are asking, is it a 2.5 inch memory, or is it storage, or is it a 3.5 inch storage? When they say 3.5, that's hard drive. If it's a 2.5, that's SSD. Solid state drives are quicker. They're a lot more snappier, mainly because it's such smaller and compact. It doesn't have a little disc that spins around and that needs to be read. It's all basically through transfer speeds. It just uses the same cable wire, which makes this next one even faster than the SSDs, which is your M.2s SSDs. M.2s goes directly into the motherboard. Why is that important? Well, again, it's transfer speeds. All of it is just transfer speeds. All of it is just plugging it in and be like, hey, what's the quickest way we could get into the mind of the processor? That's what that is. That's what the M.2 does. It goes directly into the motherboard, like I showed. Oh, back up. It goes directly into the motherboard and hits it with a dose of processing power. This will load up your games so much faster. This will load up your projects so much faster. Everything just goes so much quicker with M.2s. However, here's the issue I have with M.2s. They take up space in your motherboard. Whereas the whole thing I was talking about with the storage unit being the little areas right here for hard drives and solid state drives, those come and go. Those things are easy and doesn't take up space. M.2s do, and that's why there's always such a limit to it. And that's the only downside I have for M.2s. At most, motherboards, your average motherboard is going to have at least one or two. It's going to have one or two. There are some motherboards with like 3, 4, probably even up to 8. And those are huge motherboards. But for an average person who's just gaming on the reg, it's probably just going to have one or two. And really, you only need 2. And here's why I'm saying you need 2. One could be straight up just for your OS. What is OS? Which that leads into our next conversation. What is OS? OS is your operating system. This is Linux, Windows, Mac, all that stuff. These are your processing systems. They obviously give you access to the actual computer itself, so it knows what to do. I mean, it's pretty simple as that, right? So, I would probably always suggest putting your operating system, into an M.2. That way, it starts up your computer quicker. You can also set it in the BIOS to have it more secure on a safety mode, on a different type of safety mode, but like on a safe mode. That way, it comes up quick and safely. You're not gonna lose any data. You're not gonna cause any corruption. That's how great it is. Please back up. Please, you're scaring me. We're about to start an ad soon. So yeah, I would always say operating system goes in the M.2. If you want to put like games and stuff on it, that's on you. But know that if you start filling up the M.2, you'll start noticing your computer going a little bit slower than usual. That's why I always say get some extra storage, like a second M.2 or an HDD or SSD. That's important. We're about to start an ad soon, so, if I go quiet for a little bit, that's probably why. But yeah. Let me see, 1 second. Maybe I can start it pretty soon. No, I can't. I can't start! It's all blocked out for me. Okay. Which is perfectly fine. It happens. But yeah. Me personally, like I said, I do have an M.2. It's a 1 terabyte, or it's either 1 or 2 terabytes. I think it's a 2 terabyte one, only because I would like the extra space. I don't necessarily need the extra space, but I would like the extra space because, well, I mean, why not? Doesn't hurt, right? So that's why I have a 2 terabyte M.2. Now, do I actually use the memory? Not really. Because, okay, I'm going to, pull the curtain back a little bit and actually tell you guys what's going on with my PC. My PC is a powerhouse. It could be used as a NASDAQ. NASDAQs are basically server room memory. It's incredible. It's incredibly. And I have so much hard drives in there that it's up to at least 22 terabytes in that one PC. Do I need 22 terabytes? No. But, like I said, I work on one PC. I stream on one PC. Everything is done on one PC, so I would like to have the memory. I don't need 2 terabytes of M.2 because it's only for my OS. But at least I always have a backup, right? That's the thing. Keep that in mind whenever you're deciding if you should get more storage or not. Because the answer should always be like, yes, you should always get more storage. But if it's in your means, and that's also very important to do. But yeah, I took this black one off my personal PC because I wanted to show you the different types of storage memories you guys have with it. But yeah, like I said, like I always say, everything's gonna be on YouTube. If you're watching this on YouTube, that's great. But it's also gonna be archived on YouTube. So find me on YouTube. You know, also hit that subscribe button, the like button, whatever button you're feeling. Doesn't technically really matter because, you know, I think your opinion should always matter to at least someone out there like you. Anywho, moving on from that. So yeah, keep your OS pretty clear and open, given enough space in case you do have to use the M.2 for storage. But try to make sure basically the M.2 is alone with the OS. It needs to have a romantic dinner date with it. Always. It's the marriage partner for the M.2. So yeah. Anywho, we're having fun with this. We're gonna have fun with it some more later. I also want to say that it does not come with the bracket that it is on. This little black bracket right here, cause that's supposed to come on from the the um the the case. I just didn't feel like taking it completely off. I know it kind of deletes the immersion of surgery, but hey, we're still here, aren't we? We're still streaming, aren't we? Yeah. So yeah, we're gonna have to move over here. All right. So let's go ahead and bring back the motherboard, and we're gonna go ahead and place in the M.2. And if Mind or Leafy is watching or anything, I don't know if you guys are or not. First of all, thank you for stopping by, of course. But I would always probably suggest you guys, if you have space, if you have a little extra slot for this M.2 right around here or here, definitely invest in the M.2 to store more games. They have some that are pretty expensive, but it doesn't hurt to also just trade into one of those other ones. Personally, HDD is probably your best bet. Cheap, very affordable for one, and very secure for another. And also, it's just, easier to allocate. Everything else is pretty hard to allocate. Well, probably not the M.2 because you're gonna have to allocate it in BIOS anyways. But the SATA, the SSD, if you're just using that for storage, I find that difficult. But not too difficult that you couldn't do it. I just haven't allocated that specific one yet. I'm gonna find a way though. There we go. You see how I put it in? I kind of shifted my thumb mostly rather than just shoving it in there. No, you gotta serenade it a little bit. Be like, hey, let me just squeeze on in there, baby girl. And she's gonna be like, you're such a gentleman. And I'll be like, I am, baby. But yeah, you just kind of shimmy your thumb there instead of just stabbing it in there. Anywho, let's go ahead and screw that in to make sure it's tightened down. Wiggle it around to make sure it's all secure and everything. And then you're going to push it down, of course, to secure it. Just like that. Just like so. Just like that. And then it should keep it down. Just screw it down. Straight up. You don't have to screw it down too hard. It should just give a little tug, and that's it. And there you go. Like I said, not all motherboards are going to need to have it screwed down. Some of them actually have a little tab you could just flip, and then it just locks into place. But you want to make sure it's locked into place because if you don't, you're going to end up, with a floppy little M.2 to where, oh, shit, I have corrupted data. My shit didn't save. It's probably because your M.2 isn't tied down all the way. And that's depressing. And I just told you what happened. Moving on, let's talk about this thing now. What is this thing? This is a thermal pad. This actually keeps the M.2 cooled down to where it's, has its own dedicated cooling. It basically sucks up the heat and cools it down like that. That's basically what thermodynamics does for it, I guess. That's probably the best way I could put it. And I like to use the word thermodynamic, even though I don't really exactly know if that it really is thermodynamics. It probably is. Everything says thermal, so why not? Look, you guys see me building a PC, you think, oh, Shinabe is actually really smart. No, Shinabe's not smart at all. He does things with you guys because he's still learning. I still learn everything every single day, every day. Like how I am with streaming. I don't know everything to do about streaming. And I don't really care to. I want to have fun streaming. Like how I want to have fun learning about PCs, building PCs. That's what you guys got to remember. Have fun with it. Bruh. If it makes you feel better, go buy an old ass PC from Goodwill for like $150, $200. Take it apart, reassemble it, see if you can make it start up again. Figure out what you need to work on, and figure out like what you could do to upgrade it. Don't think you have to, bruh. And stretch. But yeah. Oh God, my arms. Okay. Alright, so now we got the M.2 in place. Thermal pad is in place. What do we do now? Oh, that's right. Now we put it in the goddamn case. Now we can put it in the case. So I'm going to have to flip you guys around a little bit. Just a little bit. Just a teeny tiny bit. This is a little kid's table, by the way. This is the table you use at a potluck. At a quinceañera. If you want a cheap table, just get one of these from Walmart. They're amazing. Because that's what this is. Okie dokie. Alright. Let me show you a little bit of what I got here, okay? Come on here. Come on over. Because this one's going to be a little bit more difficult to explain. Because I got to put it over here. I'm going to put my keyboard over there. On my, the right up high. But yeah. Okay. Now we're going to lift you down. Don't worry, baby girl. I'll make sure you're safe. We're going to talk a little bit about the cables. And a little bit about the power supplies. This power supply is a pretty standard power supply. This is a power supply you would get at for basically older PCs, because you could tell this is for older PCs because all the cables, all the braided cables are like attached to it, which is fine. It's perfectly good to start off with this. However, I'm going to also show you what a modular PSU is, which is a power supply unit, and why it's better to go with modular. But like I said, my brother-in-law doesn't need a heavy, hard-hitting computer. He just needs something to watch train videos and stuff and have fun with it. So that's what this is. Now let's talk about grades and on PSUs, because that's also very important. This is a bronze. Bronze is probably the lowest graded power supplies you could really get. Like I said, my brother-in-law doesn't use too much power because, like for instance, his graphics card, it doesn't need that much power for it. However, the higher graphics card you get, the more power you're going to need. The higher CPU you get, you probably don't have to worry too much. It's mostly the graphics card. But the higher CPU you get, you're going to need probably a stronger power supply. Do not skip out on power supply units, because they are super important, obviously, like everything else. The reason why this is important is because if you don't have enough power, your PC is going to end up keep shutting off. It's going to be too weak to hold up a charge and everything. And that's bad. We don't want that. The grades you want to look for when you want a good constant power supply, a good power supply, is usually gold and up. So that's gold, titanium, platinum, and I think there's another one, but I'm not 100% sure. And I know gold seems a little expensive. However, it will help you on the long race. In the long race, I guess you could say. Because with a gold one, at least you're going to be at a good standing and you won't have to upgrade everything because you're gonna end up upgrading certain parts anyways. More, an example, the graphics card, because they make graphics card basically every fucking what 2 years now. It's ridiculous. I think it was only a year that said they dropped the fucking 50 series for the RTX. But yeah, it's just, you know, if you're gonna end up upgrading your power supply, if you're gonna end up upgrading your graphics card, make sure you get a high enough power supply first. The wattage is also important too. I say the more the merrier because it's only gonna suck up the power that you need. Uh, what is it? EVGA is good. Asus is good. I have Asus power supplies on my main PC, my wife's PC, and my other PC, which is down there. I also like Thermaltake, but I haven't really got a chance to actually work with Thermaltake. But yeah, a range for wattage, I would say 850 and up is good. 750 is not that's basics of all basics. So probably up the wattage a little bit by about 100 and you should be okay. I would I would be amiss to tell you that it might be better to just go with 1,000. You're gonna upgrade the graphics card sooner or later. You're gonna need that extra power, and it's not gonna suck up your electricity bill. It's not gonna bring up your electricity bill, I should say. Yeah, as long as you got a good one. I should also mention that. But yeah, anywho, there's a couple things I also need to do. I need to tighten up these fucking screws because that's fucking ridiculous. I shouldn't have to have dealt with that like that for no goddamn reason. What the hell is it? Okay, so something interesting about this is that I didn't know that they made little screws for or bits for these little screws right here. So make sure you find the correct one, which is this one. I think. Nope, little bit bigger, or a lot bigger. I don't fucking know. So get yourself one of these ones, and you can tighten up the little stands that are located right here. And I'm gonna just tighten it up as much as I can, because I'm not dealing with that shit ever again. Even if I don't deal with the actual computer itself ever again. Should you always replace your thermal paste? That is another question too. Normally, you don't have to, and you don't have to worry too much about it for a good 20 years, dude. It's okay to do it like once every 3 to 5 years, and you have a fresh coated thermal paste. But really, thermal paste, you don't have to touch it at all, to be honest. I'm also in the camera's in my way, so let me look at you so you take me seriously. That's usually the case, though. It's like you don't have to touch thermal paste at all. I just feel like I want to. This is a perfect opportunity to, clean it off and apply some new thermal paste because I care about my brother-in-law. I want to make sure he's good with this thermal paste. There we go. Okay, cool. Alrighty. So next thing we're gonna do is place the motherboard in there again, because why not? Oh wait, I gotta explain the wires. Okay, so this one with the silver tab, this doesn't come with the how do you say, case. Well, some of them do. Some of them do, I should say. Most of the time, it comes with storage memory, the hard drive, the HDD, the SSDs, and uh, sometimes the case, but a lot of times it doesn't. So make sure you check to see you have one of these cable wires if you're getting a hard drive or SSDs, which again I suggest you do. This thing goes into that little hub right there, where this little spot right here. That will allow you to put in more storage, basically. So let's go ahead and do that. Well, we'll do that later. I still have to explain some stuff. I'm pretty sure I pretty much explained it, but I want to explain it again so it gets through, people who have didn't come in later. Like for instance, these wires right here in this little corner. This is the power for the CPU, of course. Like I said, it powers your CPU. Oh, and this is a perfect way I could show you guys. See how it splits like that? It's okay if it does. It's supposed to split. Just combine two and then divide another one because it comes with two right over here. Split the other one because you're going to need basically, I think nowadays it takes like 3 cables or 3 headers. So yeah, that's why it looks like that. Of course, this one right here is also for, this one's your HDMI 3.0. This one's for your actual motherboard right here, the long ass cable. If for usually it has a snap off right here. It splits off right here because some motherboards don't necessarily need all that power. Nowadays, it does need all that power, if not more now. But yeah, there's like a little clip right here. Okay. Right here, where it kind of just slides in and kind of hooks on. That way you can push it in to the actual motherboard. But yeah. Okay. Let's see. What else is there? Here's the fan. I'm going to have to do the fan later. All the cables down here. There's some cables down here that you probably can't really see too well. So I'm going to bring the camera close. These cables are for your actual PC case right here. That's for all these buttons, all the sound, the USBs, everything. Well, besides the USB 3, but you get what I'm saying. This is for like your HD audio, so that way the PC can pick up on like where's the audio coming from. Everything else is over here. It's these little teeny tiny ones. And these are the ones that you're going to have probably the most frustration with, but that's okay. It might just take a little time to actually adjust. You can always look through your manual again for the motherboard, or you can go look it up online if you don't have the manual anymore. I have to look it up every so often just in case I forget. So don't think like, I know everything about it. I just know enough to get me by. This cable right here will actually be labeled PCIe. In other words, anything in those little small slots that we were talking about earlier. But this PCIe one specifically is for the graphics card. So, like I said, graphics card takes a lot of power by itself because it's practically a second motherboard, I guess you could say. So it needs its own power supply. We'll go ahead and start shoving this in there and actually, fucking with it. Or stop fucking with it because, I'm having fun with this stream. I'm having fun with you guys. We've been streaming for almost 2 hours and a half. So I want to give big thanks to Mind and Leafy specifically because they gave me this thought to dissect a PC and actually like explain it a little bit. But I also want to give big thanks to all the viewers who stopped by, all the people who came by and talked. You guys are fucking amazing. Even if you were just lurking or anything, if you just stopped by for a little bit, I absolutely appreciate you guys. Because I love seeing that, you guys are at least somewhat interested, if not completely interested in it. And also, I'm really happy to always hear from you guys in the chat, too. I'm sorry if I haven't really responded to anybody on YouTube chat. It's really hard to see your guys' chat on this screen because it's a smaller screen on my third programming monitor. So I am really sorry about that if I have missed your stuff. But yeah. I don't know if anybody's been talking in chat for YouTube, but I just want you guys to know that I do still appreciate you guys. You guys are fucking amazing. Anywho. You gotta kind of make sure you don't tuck away the wires behind the motherboard if you're going to put the motherboard last. This one right here is for, by the way, There's another one here that's for a fan header, I think. Yeah, this one's a fan header for the actual PC itself. There's actually a hub in there somewhere in the back for all the fans to connect with. So yeah. Anywho, actually, I think this is the extended cable for it. So yeah, this is your fan header. These are all your fans right here. Woo. You can't see it, but yeah, it's fans. You might be able to see it in the bottom. Yeah, you can see it in the bottom. Whee! Anywho. Okay. So, moving on. Trying to get that M dot. M dot. What the fuck am I talking about? Trying to get that cable for the USB 3. Pop it out. There we go. You just want to make sure all the wires are correctly out and about ready to be plugged in and everything. This wire is so free and open that I'm actually going to probably tuck it in the back when I get a chance. And probably Velcro it. Because I got some Velcro right here. So, luckily I have some extra Velcro from, like, when I built my cousin's PC. So, yeah. To make it look a little bit cleaner. Or a lot cleaner. It is a fucking mess right now. So, you want to kind of focus on plugging in the CPU right now and the power supply for the motherboard. There we go. I'm sorry. I have not eaten yet. I'm sorry. But it's just because, you know, I was so busy with other things like watching anime and shit. Yeah, that's right. Your boy's a weeb. He's a big ass fucking nerd. I can admit to that. And I can content to that. Your boy like that nerd shit. Okay. So there's a couple things I do also want to explain that I wasn't really able to because it was going to be hard to see. But that little hub right there for memory, there's only one way it can go in because it has a little lip right there. I don't know if you guys can see it. Let me see if I could find the eye. It has a little lip right there to where the cable wire can only go one way. So if for some reason it's not going in and it's not clipping on, that's your culprit. It's the same thing to do with the power supply. This does have its own dedicated power supply, but it's not enough. So it actually draws from the motherboard as well, just like everything else. It's basically one big ass circle, like this light fixture. It's a big ass circle. Sexy too, if you want to look at it like that. Okay. Let's go ahead and add the GPU. We've already discussed the GPU. It's a graphics card. It has the fans on there because it should be dedicated. It also has those little silver things for, distributing heat, basically. And the air pipes. So it distributes, like, cool air and also, distributes the heat better. There's only one way that the motherboard can go. And you're going to hear a little snap. So I'm going to bring the mic a little bit closer so you guys can hear it. I don't know if you were able to hear it last time when I unlocked it, but yeah. I'm going to go ahead and put it right here. I think I might have put it on the bottom one. I'm not 100% sure, to be honest. Nope, I put it on the second one. Okay, you move. Don't tie down your motherboard just yet, too. Because you might need to move it around so your GPU can actually go into the slot. Okay, so I'm going to be quiet so you guys can hear that little snap. Make sure it's released like how this one is. I don't know. Wait. Make sure it's released like how this one is. And then, yeah. I just want to make sure you guys see how it was. You should not do this, by the way. I'm just, showing you guys certain things. It's a little quiet.
If you feel like it's still not in all the way, pop it out. Kind of just adjust it as you go. And then push it in just like this. Okay, so there's like a little snap. That's why I wanted to bring like a little bit closer. That way you guys can kind of hear it. But yeah. And now securing it is a completely necessary issue. That some people don't understand that is an issue, that you have to do it. The reason why is because you don't want it to sag. You don't want anything sagging. But yeah. Actually, I think I fucked up because I put the GPU in without putting those little cables in. The one that actually frustrates you. See, it's already frustrating me. But yeah. Shit. Really, it's myself. I frustrated myself because I forgot about it. But yeah. These things can get frustrating, but don't let it eat you up. It's okay to go back to it, and you'll get it right next time. Without a doubt, son. I'm going to put the fan headers in real quick. Then the power supplies. I got big meaty hands. And I'm trying my best to put it to use. I can't see shit. Where my phone at? It's okay. I just move things around. I should probably better explain what this little piece is. This little piece is an audio piece. This will scream at you in case you did something wrong. Or if it's starting up for the very first time. But this will scream at you for a good bit to tell you, hey, something's wrong. I'm feeling, oh, Mr. Stark, I'm not feeling too good. Oh, I'm about to bust. I swear to God, Leafy got me onto that shit. It's not me. I swear, it's not me. Just blame Leafy because I don't hear in chat. So, yeah. Let me see. LED power plus goes on this end. And remember, labels facing downwards. And this one should be LED power. Power LED. This end right here. Ah, fuck. Where my flashlight at? I really need a flashlight because the shadows are covering the words. Okay, I see it now. The reset goes over here. Make sure I have the correct one. Like I said, I'm sorry if I'm a little too quiet. I'm just a little. I'm locked into this one because this one's a little bit more difficult because I don't want to get it wrong because I'm the one who wanted to do this type of video. Because it's also been a while since we did one of these streams. PC building streams, I should say. There we go. That should be good. All right. And then we gotta find HD audio. It's actually shoved into the back right there. Nope, that's not it. What the hell? Did I not pull it out? I might have not pulled it out. Luckily, we haven't tied it down yet. There you are. It's gonna be this way. And like I said, look at the cable innings to make sure you're not putting in the wrong header, because sometimes the wires will block off some of the pins. So yeah, be careful of that. You don't want to bend any pins or anything. It should just end up easily sliding in. See? 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 There we go. Get in there. There we go. Alrighty. We're going to put all the rest of the stuff in there. And lastly, the CPU power header. Okay. There we go. Then single this one out. Like I said, it's okay that these CPU ones are split, because it could just go right in to the last one. That way you power up everything. Oh, and my big ass head in the way. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm just too smart because it's so big. I got that Jimmy Neutron cranium, you know what I'm saying? Brain blast! Hold on. I'm trying, guys. I'm trying. It might be the other one. Hold on. There's like a little tab that should indicate which one you should be putting in. There it is. Okay. Yeah, it was swapped. Okay, cool. And the fucking power supply cables, those ones should be like each one has its own different shape, so you're not gonna plug it in the wrong way. If for some reason it's not going in one way, it's probably the other. It's probably the other cable that needs to go in. God damn. God damn, she tight. She tight right here. I fucking hate the CPU one, by the way. I can't tell you how much I hate it. You saw me go crazy with the hub for all those fan cables for my cousin's PC. So you gotta understand that I'm angry about tiny little spots, and I gotta work on a tiny PC eventually later. So yeah, there's that too to actually look at too. On top of that. Okay. a little cable wiring that's just off-putting to me. I don't know what would be on-putting though. Try to feel around for her. She don't want to go in because she said no. Megan! No! Your jacket, though! Shout out to anybody who knows where that's from. Megan! The components, though! No! God damn it! God damn it, go in there already! You know what? Hold on. You know what's probably fucking me up? It's probably these ones. Probably start off with the single one and then move on to the double one. Save you a headache or two. Because it's so specific. I gotta do this one first and then the next one. There we go. Oh my god. Save the headache, do the single one first, and then the double one. And then you'll be fine. My back! Oh god, please go in! I'm losing my goddamn mind! As I always do, though. Go ahead. Go ahead. Piss me off. Piss me off some more. See if you don't get any chocolate later. There we go. Uh-huh. I thought so. I thought so. The computer wanted fucking chocolate. That's all it wanted. Okay. Okay. Moving on. So we got that figured out. Make sure the I/O shield, which is this little thing right here, centers right here. Make sure it fits properly. It's flushed. Make sure there's no gaps, no huge gaps at least, and you're good. After that, fucking put the GPU in. You heard the snap. I'm not doing it again. I love you guys, but damn. This thing goes crazy. There's probably a better way for me to have done that, but still. That's the way I know how to do it. There. GPU is now in place. Fucking tie everything down now. Not too tight though. Don't put it in too tight, just enough to where it pretty much seals it in, you know? That's why this extender helps me so much. When you start hearing those clicks, leave it alone. It's tight enough. I hear at least 3 clicks and that's it. Go at, like, again, a cross it. That way everything's kind of like flushed together. I try to make sure that I, you know, screw in every hole I use, to make sure I use every hole, because I want to make sure it's always secure. Like, especially when I'm shipping out like PCs and shit, you got to make sure you screw everything in like completely, or else it's just gonna fall off, and nobody likes that. And then you're gonna get a complaint. You're gonna get people are gonna get mad, and so yeah. So yeah, that's why I just want to make sure that everything is placed correctly. It's my preference, probably nobody else's, but yeah. We've already made the X, so we can pretty much just finish it off by screwing it all in. There it is. Okay. As you know, don't strap it, don't do anything like that. You don't want to do that. I think this is a bigger one, so I'm gonna have to unscrew this one, take it off. I think that's for the fucking fan or something, or the other shit. This stuff, the graphics card. There we go. That's the word. My lobotomy brain is showing. I'm sorry, guys. Go ahead and plug this one into the PCIe cable to the graphics card, just so you don't forget about it. And we're going to go ahead and tie down the everything else. It's called the everything else. That's what I'm going to call it too. Make sure you put that little slot that you took out. Screw it right back onto that thing. Right around here. There we go. Alright guys. Let's go ahead and screw this back in. Make it look pretty. Because all the pretty girls dance like this. Walk like this. Dance like this. I don't like screwing it all the way just yet. I want to make sure I screw in the GPU too first. That way I know that thing is secure. There it is. Right here. Perfect. Place this thing back, which is basically holds down the bracket so it doesn't expose that. Makes it look cleaner too. Aesthetically, it's appealing, so yeah. That's kind of what you want to do. Because you want a pretty ass computer. You gotta understand, you want a pretty ass fucking computer. And if you don't, you're lying to yourself. You want a computer that you can take home to mommy with and be like, Mom, I brought home a girl. It's the X1350 flight wagon. With a RTX 5090 Ti X531 with 7 million core processor from AMD Ryzen 8000. Am I making sense? I'm not making sense, but you get what I'm saying. You want to make it look pretty. Show your mama. Tell her, look what I did. And she'll be like, what are you doing home, Timmy? You should be in school right now. And I'll be like, I didn't want to go to school. I mean, you'd be like that. I don't know why I would be like that. I don't go to school. Or maybe I should. I don't know. Might fix my lobotomized brain. Okay, so a couple things when installing fans. I should also talk about the fans. If you're not 100% sure what fan direction is, there's usually an arrow that indicates where the air direction is, either this way or this way. Well, if you don't have that and you're still not sure, spin the fan. Feel where the air kind of pushes forward. It pushes more this way, I think. Hold on 1 second. Yeah, it pushes out that way. Fans, you should also focus on where it should push is you gotta have fan in the front pushing inwards. Heat likes to go up, so put fans as exhaust on the top going outwards, and put this fan that's supposed to be in the back outwards too. The fan that's on the bottom right here that you see, those ones are just extra fans. That just circulates the air a little bit more. Those ones you want to push upwards. So that way to the exhaust up here. Now, it's okay if these don't become exhaust. It's just a little extra air to push out from. This can be intakes too. That's fine. As long as you have basically a negative from all these positive that's sucking it in. You can also make these bottom ones exhaust, but a lot of times it's just blowing onto the floor or inside your little case or on the table, and it's just blowing hot air everywhere and probably even sucking it back up. So be careful of that. That's why I have all the exhausts as they are right now. But yeah, let's go ahead and screw these in. Sorry if I'm a little quiet again. I'm just trying to make sure everything goes into the correct spots. Okay, I'm going to push it underneath everything right here. If I can. I don't know if I can or not. There we go. There she is. Try to push it to where these other fan headers are. And there we go. Stick it right here. Oh, hey, Turtle. It's been going pretty good. I've been having a good time streaming and rebuilding this PC and everything for my brother-in-law. I was just adding some more thermal paste, and it was supposed to be a dissection video for Mind and Leafy. That way they could get a little bit of how to install these certain components. Hold on. And yeah, all that other good stuff. Because I think you were there in the conversation when I was talking to Mind when I was playing. No, you were, yeah, because you were giving me advice on the game. We were playing 100 Heroes, Eugene Chronicles 100 Heroes, and Mind said she was going to be building her own PC. So I figured I'll just dissect the PC real quick and, show her a little bit of the components, and then we basically just put it back together. So yeah, hopefully this helps her. I don't know if she'll find this video on YouTube or whatever, or if she's watching right now. I don't know if Leafy's watching because she said she wanted to upgrade a little bit of her PC. So hopefully this helps her, put in new RAM or new storage, all that stuff. Because we're about to do storage next too, by the way. I missed out on the part that I wanted to see, but I have a headache, so the nap took priority. No, yeah. Dude, take your naps. Relax a little bit. This is going to be on YouTube anyway, so it's going to be archived. It's going to be good. Hey, babe.
Hi. Is it going to catch me?
Yeah. Thanks, sweetie. My wife brought me some charcuterie. Some charcuterie. Charcuterie board. Look at that. That look fancy as hell. Because I'm a fancy bitch. W for the wife, though. W and Jack. I'm just happy you stopped by at all, Turtle. What part did you want to see? The taking of the part, me taking it apart? We're done. We're done now. It's fancy out here. I try to be. I try to be.
So you don't mess with the PC.
Thank you, baby.
Yeah. Welcome.
The GPU part? Well, the GPU part's right here. No. Stop looking at my penis. This is GPU right here. Were you hoping to see how I installed it, or what's up? Or what type of GPU is it? I'm a little hungry. I'm running low on energy. I'm gonna get ham, salami, all that stuff. We should do a mukbang. This is a good table to do a mukbang in. Okay. I can show you real quick. I'm gonna bring it down a little bit. Some computers have this little thing, some computers don't. Screwdriver. I use my LTT screwdriver. People use usually their screwdrivers for everything. That's what mostly. That's the tool you're gonna use forever in PC building. I know we're backtracking a little bit, guys, but it's always good to showcase everything. Sometimes you might need needle noses, like needle nose pliers, to hold down some screws, but I think for the most part you're good. Let's see. Hopefully your headache is good. Yeah, it's gone now. Hopefully your head is all good now. I can explain this a little bit more now. Let's see. We're gonna release it and pop it right on out. There we go. Okay. So let me explain again. 64 turtle and everything. So these PCIEs, these are called PCIEs. These are basically your components you use to plug in knickknacks, extra USB ports, extra fans that you might use, or even M.2s. I forgot to mention that. You could actually use those for M.2s. I don't know how, but you can. Or extra memories for storage for those PCIEs, these smaller ones. These bigger ones are usually used for GPUs. They have these little tab ones that allow you to release the GPU. So keep that in mind when you're installing a new GPU. If you have to take out an old one, press this thing down before you do it. That way it's released and it should be easier to take out. If you just force it out, you're going to break something and it's going to make you look like a fool. I've never had that problem because I've always wondered what these fucking tabs are. But yeah. So, installing a GPU is pretty simple for the most part. I'm going to zoom on out of here. And I'm going to push this a little bit back like this. Stop looking at my penis. And you're going to make sure you pop out the correct holes for the GPU right here on this head. See? You're going to pop out these little things. They should be ones that you could either break off or the ones you could screw on there like this one does. I like the ones that screw on because, like I said, it's mostly an aesthetic choice. Anywho, moving on. We're going to go ahead and pop this up. Grab your GPU like this one. This little fun Asus one that we usually use for practice anyways, but it's used for my brother-in-law stuff. And you kind of make, once you pop those things out, it should leave enough of a gap to where these little things, these pins, go down in. So from there, you kind of just find the PCIe that you need to use. Normally, when you put in a graphics card, you want it as close to the CPU as possible. That way, it's faster transfer speeds. Your transfer speed will be a lot faster the closer it is to the CPU. So that's what you do. The top one for this motherboard, though, does not work for it. So we're going to do the second one because it's still pretty close. And then, let's see. Pretty much stick it in there. Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay, there's a cable wire blocking my way. Could you move, please? There it is. Okay, so I'm going to move you a little bit closer so you guys can see. Hold on. The cable wire's in the way. Oh, I use this. I'm the one who built this PC, so that's how I know it doesn't work. It should normally work, but something's wrong with the slot, I should say, slot or the header. That's how I know it doesn't work. But normally, if you have a new motherboard, if it's one you are absolutely sure it will work, you're gonna want to put it right there. The way you could tell it doesn't work is if you plug everything in, your PC turns on, but nothing's showing up on the screens. If nothing shows up on the screen, try to plug your HDMI cord on the HDMI port right here, or the display cord right there, or just to find out if it's just needs to be swapped over to GPU rather than motherboard HDMI, and if it is on GPU HDMI, then it could either be a problem with the GPU or the motherboard's PCIe slot. If everything is turning on, it's on GPU, it's either the slot that's the problem or the GPU. But swap out the slot first before you start panicking about the GPU. Okay, so let's go in the actual computer, and you can see the components, I think. Yep. Around here. Yep. See how it's in the slot? You see that little trigger right there? That thing will go up when you push it down. So just kind of make sure you line it up correctly. Make sure it's perfectly straight too. That's another thing you want to be sure of. Once it's perfectly straight, you put it down and bring the hammer. Just like that. And so it's locked into place, but you also still have to secure it. So that's why, that's why we had it screwed in like that. Also, make sure you use this PCIe power supply cord and plug it in. Make sure it's plugged in all the way, or it's going to cause a short in either the motherboard, the GPU, the power supply, or all three, or two of the threes. So make sure it's in all the way. You got to make sure you inspect this one because it's very important that you don't leave it basically loose and hanging. Some PCIes will have more pins, so definitely be on the lookout for that too. There we go. You should always hear a snap to it. Let me bring you over here. Nice charcuterie board, am I right? Am I right, guys? It is. I got it for a Christmas present from my wife. It's just an amazing present. Okay, so I don't know if you guys can see, but there is a little lip right there where the GPU is. That's why we tie it down. And that way we don't cause a GPU sag to it. Because causing a GPU sag could also make the whole GPU start falling off the slot, and it will actually ruin your slot. If you can't tie it down, use a GPU stand that you can attach to the GPU, and it'll hold it up, basically. Okay. Go ahead and screw this all back in. And that's it. That's all you gotta do for GPU. Normally, you would have all the screws taken off from the motherboard. That way you can adjust your motherboard in case you do need a little extra space just to put it in. But, I could just show you like this too. It's fine either way. So the only wire you need to plug in is the PCIe one. I thought there would be more. No. That's the only one you need. Absolutely. Like I said, the PCIe one might need 8 pins rather than 6 pins for the newer ones. But for the older ones, like 30s and I think the 4060, I think that only requires 6 pins. But I think like for the 4080 or the 50 series, those ones require 8 pins. But yeah, that's the only one you have to worry about plugging in as long as the GPU is plugged in. The reason why is because the motherboard still puts a supply of power into the GPU, just not a lot. Or I should say, not enough power. That's the best way I could put it. Get some of this. Oh, good. But usually, a power supply will provide you the pins, the correct pins. And if you have to use a second cable, that's fine too. It's important to get enough power to the GPU, that way it can run. And if you have to get a new power supply, you probably would need a new power supply anyways, because it might not be able to push enough power to it. Anywho, let's also look at some of these other things. Which, this part is kind of mostly for Leafy, because she kind of needs more memory for her PC. So let's do that. Let's talk about that real quick. Okay, so PCs tend to have these little brackets for your hard drives or your SATA. Your SATA drive, or solid state drive, I should say. I'm sorry. Solid state drive. As I said before, hard drives are the slowest one, but it's still a computer. It's still a computer fast. Solid state drive is a good medium, but M.2 is the fastest. You won't need to worry about this for the M.2 because the M.2 goes on the actual motherboard itself. But yeah. So what you do now is make sure you take out the plate, like how I did with this one, and attach it to the actual hard drive. Now, the thing is that it's not going to always look like this. They have some other holes right here that the plate's going to can attach to it. Sometimes you can just slide it into a slot too. And that's perfectly fine, as long as it's secure and able to fit where it's supposed to fit. But yeah, as you can tell, this is already pretty much, you know, what is it called? Cable managed as best as possible. So there we go. For this one does take a power supply. Just remember about that little lip I was talking about right there. There's only one way it could go. These are your power cable right here for the SATA. I'm sorry, SATA. Solid state drive and the hard drive. These are the power cable for it. This is the one that goes in that little hub on the motherboard. So go ahead and just plug it in where it's how it's supposed to. There we go. Here we go. Oh. That one was a no-no. That's too short. What was that? Kind of just slide it in and then just screw it in. You good. Hey, Coffee. How you doing? I hope you're having a great day today. All right. There we go. All right, and then you're good. You just added your hard drive, solid state drive, whatever you decide to put on there. Just keep in mind that, like I said, hard drives are, 3.5, for instance. Solid state drive is 2.5. So if people ask you what size is your memory, if they say, is it a 2.5 or a 3.5, if it's this box one, it's 3.5. If it's this small one, it's a 2.5. You pretty much just stick it on there like that. You gotta, of course, screw it in, but yeah. Yeah. This part was mostly for Leafy, of course, because I know she wants a little bit more memory for her PC. And the RAM stuff was also for Leafy, so yeah. I think that's about it for this one. We're gonna bring out another friend of mine. It's a PC. It's a PC, guys. Not a real friend. It's a bot. So I could talk a little bit more about why power supplies are important. That's pretty much all we have to do for that PC. Where are you going? Hey, where are you going? What the fuck? But yeah, did you guys like it? Did you guys enjoy it? I hope you guys did. Because we're about to bring out another friend. I'm about to bring out this friend right here. This is the PC that caused me trouble. So, we're going to go ahead and open up the back. Just for a little bit. Actually, let me bring it on the table. That way I don't have to crouch down for anything. And show you guys my dumpy. So, as I was saying earlier, the grade of the actual power supply is important. Like gold, bronze, silver, gold, titanium, or titaniumite, or whatever, titanium I think it was, titan, and platinum, and something else that I can't remember at this moment. Okay. What I showed you guys in that PC was a old-fashioned bronze. It has already the cable wires already attached to the power supply, which is fine. Like I said, if you have a power supply that's like that, that's perfectly fine. However, if you're a big modder, if you're a big gamer, if you're anything to do with that sort of situation, then let me introduce you to a modular one. If I can pop it out. There we go. This is a gold. Like I said, I only build computers through gold. Gold and up, I should say. And this is a 1,000-watt power supply. Okay. This thing will just come out. There we go. Okay. This is a 1,000-watt power supply right here. Incredible, isn't it? Somewhat, at least. So what makes this a modular? Well, it's all these little holes right here. You could put customizable cables, and it's a little bit more distinctive in its plugins. For instance, the CPU, VGA, PCIe stuff. It'll direct you like what hole goes to which. All this top one is for all those options. PC, the VGA, PCIe, CPU. That's all for those categories. This one is like SATA, Molexes, peripherals. Basically keyboards. Peripherals are keyboards, monitors, stuff like that. Mouses. Molexes are some other stuff for PCs. I'm not really sure because I never messed with Molexes. I think it's usually like for lights and stuff. But the SATA, of course, that's for memory, storage memory specifically. So yeah, that's what that is for. And let's see. See over here, there's your CPU again, VGA, and PCIe. It's a lot more customizable, and you don't have to use all those wires. You could just use the ones you want to use. I usually plug it all in because you never know when you're going to need to use it. And of course, this MB right here, this bottom one that says MB, you guys can't really see it too well, but this MB one, that's motherboard, obviously. It has that little extra cabling right here, and that's what, for your motherboard. But when I was explaining to Turtle for the GPU, even if it's just 6 wires, but if your GPU is like one of the newer series and it requires 8 cables or 8 pins, you can always grab one of these PCIe ones at the other end, or no, this is PSU. Well, no, this is the PSU, but this is for PCIe, isn't it? Okay. Well, this is for CPU. But if you look at the CPUs or the PCIe ones, they have a little split right here. Those splits can actually be helpful when you need to put in 8. Because a lot of time when the PCIe is plugged in, it's going to have 6. So you should be able to split one and make it a 4th one. Or make it an 8 line one. Like I said, make sure you plug it in all the way, or else you're gonna start frying up your goddamn GPU or your motherboard. One or the other. It's up to you. Well, it's not really up to you. It's up to the God of Thunder, Thor, or Storm, or whatever God of Thunder you believe in, I guess. But yeah, keep that in mind when you're messing with that. Now, like I said, there's nothing wrong with not getting modular. It's just, like I said, it's just more convenient for those. And you don't need all those wires. It's better for cable management, really. And that's kind of what we kind of want to go in at. Sorry, it's my charcuterie board. For those who don't know. But yeah. So that pretty much explains what modular is. It's just a way to make it more personalized, customizable. For me, it's also, a way for you to save on a little bit of electricity. Because you're not going to need everything on the goddamn modular thing. Modular power supply. Just a little bit. Anywho, that's neither here nor there, I guess. That pretty much answers everything. We'll probably do more of these descriptions and talk more about it when we do our nicest stream. There's nothing I could really talk more about because we did the whole PC build again, or rebuild, I guess. Other than that, you gotta focus on cable management. Make sure your cable management is top notch. You don't want to make it look like a rat's nest in the back. Even though nobody sees it, you will know it's there, and it's gonna bother you eventually. If it doesn't, then you wouldn't keep your house messy. You wouldn't keep the back of your house messy like that. Especially if you have an HOA, because apparently they're that nosy. But yeah. Charcuterie board. I mean, do we have any other any questions? Any comments? Whatever works, really. I think I pretty much covered all the bases for learning everything. As you could tell, that it's actually pretty simple. Don't be afraid to just, dive right into it. If you break apart, you break apart. Oh, it's okay. You can always just probably send it back before, it expires or something. Yeah. Anywho. I'm looking for something specifically. Ah, there it is. Anywho. That's pretty much all I got. If you're worried about, anything that may come up, just know that you shouldn't be. Dive right into it. Try something new. It doesn't have to be PC building. It could be like streaming, for instance. Woodworking. Anything. And you should enjoy yourself. Have fun with it all. But most importantly, have it be a passion that you're really interested in. That goes for not just PC building, but that goes for anything. If you're a bit intimidated by it, it's okay to be intimidated. But when you make that first step, and it might not be as scary as you think, And this is one in a million videos you'll see on the internet about building PCs and everything. But, I want to talk to you as an actual person, a normal ass person and everything. That don't be too worried. Don't be so sad that a PC, a part broke. So what? You're learning still. Don't be so hard on yourself. You'll be good. Anywho, I think that's it for today. We did our PC build and everything. Mind and Leafy, if you weren't here for the stream, it's okay. It's going to be on YouTube if you need a little bit of references. If you need a little bit of a push. As you can see, it's not that hard to upgrade. You just gotta be a little bit more, have more faith in yourself. Because I have a lot of faith in you guys. That goes for not just Leafy and Mind. That goes for everybody. You guys are incredible. And I want to thank everybody who stopped by. Oh boy, excuse me. I want to thank everybody who stopped by. Whether if you're on YouTube or if you're on Twitch, you guys are great. If you're just lurking, here to hang out, all that stuff, you guys make the stream happen, and I really do appreciate it. But anywho, tomorrow I won't be streaming tomorrow because I gotta work on some emotes and probably get some R&R because I've been going a little bit hard on a couple of different things. But on top of that, I also want to take a chance to, also say I'll be streaming back on Wednesday. We should be going back to Card Shop Simulator, all that good stuff. Yeah. And yeah, I think that's really about it. Definitely, we're gonna probably end up rating Destiny now, so definitely stay here for that. We always love to see Destiny play. She's playing Marvel Rivals, so yeah, hooray! We already rated Vezi last time, so yeah. But anywho, let's go ahead and end the stream. Thank you so much for watching, whether you're watching this on YouTube or Twitch, live or VOD. Just know that I appreciate you guys' views. I appreciate you guys even more when you press that follow button, like button, subscribe button, all the buttons you can find. If you don't like this stream, that's okay. Stay tuned. There might be a stream you do like. Don't join the Discord if you haven't already. The Tower of Niflheim is going to be located in the description below, or on the side. There's going to be a little button you can press, and you should be able to just enter the Discord like that. With that being said, like I said, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next stream. But bye for now. I gotta go all the way over here. Bye!